Hello, this is our first ever Save Data Team amateur Pokemon tournament. While we have Jason, our Pokemon expert, who can literally beat Pokemon blindfolded, a lot of us are not nearly as knowledgeable about the competitive scene. But for fun, we wanted to get 3 of us, Zach, Chris, and Carl, as well as 3 of our friends from Subpixel, Will, Ian, and Jake together to build 3 Monotype teams and bring them head-to-head in a round-robin style tournament. The rules are singles, meaning 1v1 Pokemon like you find in the games, national decks, meaning we can use every Pokemon in the franchise, with the exception of no legendaries, including Mythical, Paradox, Ultra Beasts, basically no regional gimmicks, with the exception of regional variants. And we can change our teams each match, but we have to use each of our 3 teams at least once. Meanwhile, Jason was commentating and trying to explain any of the finer details and strategies, and during these fights, we couldn't hear him at all. Which, trust me, led to some extremely funny moments.
I hate these gentlemen. I will never forgive them for this. Goes for the Giga Drain. Out of rest. Switches. Oh, what? And then the Giga Drain is burned. Oh my god. Goes.
But I hope you enjoy, and please let us know in the comments down below if you'd like this and want to see more, because we'd be happy to do so. But please enjoy.
So Jake picked normal, and Zach he messaged me and he picked bug. So the battle of the real winners right there, obviously.
Look at that beautiful layout transition.
And then
This
you guys are
team
gonna...
was rejected for the following reasons.
Uh-oh.
Everybody always underrates bugs. I think bugs have very interesting things. It was the last pick in our draft. Bugs have one of the stronger entry hazards. In terms of hazards, we have Stealth Rocks, Spikes, Toxic Spikes, and Sticky Web. Bugs are weak to rocks, Stealth Rock specifically. So that's something that Zach has to both use to his advantage with Sticky Web and avoid with Stealth Rock. I don't want to say too much about the actual Pokemon that are on Jake's normal type team. Normal is both the most boring type and the most interesting type because it has so many different Pokemon and different combinations. They all have very wide move pools and such in it. The thing is, with normal, the element of surprise is a very real thing. You could have like a choice Exploud with like choice and when I say choice, there's 3 choice items: choice scarf, choice specs, and choice band. All of these are important to say. When I say choice, that means they cannot switch their move, but they're boosting either their speed, their special attack, or attack. And he's got that unpredictable. What better to represent it than a Ditto that can be anything, or a Porygon, which I'm still not sure, even after reading the set, what it's going to do. We're good to start. First turn, Zach leads with a Ribombee. I guarantee he's trying to get Sticky Webs out, just so he slows down the rest of Jake's team. He should be very scared of this Snorlax, because this thing could Belly Drum, or do all kinds of things. And Body Slam is really going to hurt. Obviously, it brings it down to 1. Focus Sash makes it so he lives. Zach, you got to mute. So yeah, the paralyzation and hurts. This Ribombee did its job. It is a lead. It gets paralyzed. That's very bad luck. Snorlax cleans it up. I don't know what Zach was trying to do with his Ribombee, but it's good on him that he didn't take extra damage on somebody else. So that's bad, but he still got the Sticky Web. I think Ribombee still did its job if Zach can maneuver around that Sticky Web. He's got to find a way to deal with Snorlax. Snorlax is one of the best normal type Pokemon, probably of all time. It's very fucking good. Very good old reliable. So he brings in Arachnid. I don't know exactly what his plan is with this. Usually I see this thing as more of a wall, so I'm curious to see what he's going to try to do. I didn't know if he was going to bring in Scissor and just try to set up on Snorlax, but he might have been fearing the Body Slam paralysis yet again. I don't know much about this Snorlax set too. We know it's not orbed, and we could have leftovers. It could just be a beefy boy. Iron Defense on his Arachnid. That's why he brought it in. Now, here's the thing about trying to bulk up on this guy. I'm not necessarily against it, but crits can go through setup moves like this. So if this Snorlax pulls off a crit, it's going to do a lot of damage. Now, it's not guaranteed, but yeah, it could paralysis or Body Slam. I don't see why Jake would ever switch out here. He could try to get some tempo by switching into something else. The Infestation is very annoying. That means Snorlax can't move, and there's that said crit that I said could happen, and you got to be aware of when you're trying to use these blocking moves. So, unfortunately, stuff like that can happen. That's why I think sometimes setting up can be a little scary to be bulky. This Snorlax is being very dangerous. Zach has to find a way to deal with it very quickly, or else this could be very scary. Snorlax does not have leftovers either. It could be banded. Misses the Stone Axe into the Zen Headbutt. That's a little unfortunate. Stone Axe is not 100% accurate, and if it's not 100% accurate in Pokemon, you're probably going to miss. AKA Focus Miss is very scary. This Snorlax also is not... this Snorlax is also not banded or choice, which is what I thought, potentially, with the Body Slam damage there. So yeah, Zach has both Stealth Rocks and Sticky Webs up, which is going to be dangerous for hazards, but he's already lost a lot of tempo, so he's got to get it back. Now, Jake should be seeking to get a revenge kill, hopefully on this Cleaver. If Zach switches this out, he can't really do much with it after, so staying in, sacking it, getting tempo with somebody else is probably something he should be looking to do. And he gets hacked again from that paralysis, yet again, which is a 25% chance to get paralysis and lose your turn, which is a little unfortunate there as well. So this Kangaskhan has taken the damage, is a little slow. Luckily, Zach should be able to switch into Pokemon to hopefully counter this thing and get maybe set up on this Kangaskhan. Especially as a normal type, his Steel should be his ace on dealing this. If he gets paralysis again, I'd feel him as bad. Close Combat is a very great move. Usually Scissors are banded choice, so Zach might be locked into Close Combat, but his Pokemon should be faster than almost all of his Pokemon, and Close Combat just running through the rest of his team is a very realistic option that Jake needs to be aware of. He is slower every time he comes in, so those Sticky Webs are doing clutch things. Now, if Jake doesn't have a priority move to somehow upset the tempo or a choice Scarf, he is in a lot of danger here. So he's got to find a way to maneuver around the Scissor, either haze him out, wall him off, or something with speed, or else he's in a lot of danger to get killed by a very strong fighting move in Close Combat. Yes, so Close Combat is just going through, and Zach making the comeback of the century. If his Scissor gets hit by any move, though, it is -4. His defense and special defense have been gutted by using Close Combat. And the Bullet Punch, nice try. Way to get the weaken on there. Not too bad. This Close Combating Scissor is going crazy right now. The Smeargle comes in. He has a paintbrush, a hope, and a dream. But just like other things that have that, sometimes get destroyed. Oh, the Fake Out! Oh my god, the flinch, but now he has nothing left to do but just watch as the Close Combat beats down this artist in the fucking streets. It's gonna be brutal. He's faster, sir! Can the Smeargle that could pull it off? Zach just has to have one fast Mon, finish this Smeargle off, blow it back into art school that it belongs to. Vincent Van Gogh looking pretty rough here. Fake Out is not going to work multiple times. And Zach clutches it out with a Close Combating Scissor, and the Sticky Web is really putting in massive work there. It looked grim, it looked bad, but Zach pulls off the W right there.
I cannot stress how worried I was when I got like 3 really unlucky turns in a row. I was like, I'm fucking dead. I'm going to lose. First round of the tournament.
I got cocky.
Oh. That was good. That was good.
Jake, you still came back with some priority moves. Nice try with that as well. But that Scissor with that Close Combat, any fighting move is very dangerous. We got Carl and Ian in here for the next matches. I'm excited to see their picks for the next teams. They should be sending them to me shortly here.
Excuse me. It's Professor Ian.
Professor, if you had to say one type of or one speciality of Pokemon is your expertise, what would it be?
Data.
Ice. Extremely offensive type, extremely bad defensive type. This thing gets annihilated by Stealth Rocks. If he sets up Hail, that's interesting. He has 9 tails to do that. He can set up Aurora Veil, which is a good thing that only Hailmons or Ice Pokemon can utilize. So that's an extremely strong move. We'll have to see him build around that, use Hail teams, and it hit 100% Blizzards in the Hail as well. Electric is it's similar to Ice, that it's very offensive, except one type has an immunity, which is Ground, which is really unfortunate for Electric. It doesn't resist anything, and it doesn't really hit many things hard besides water and obviously air or flying type. Air, Jesus Christ, flying type. So it is both good offensively because it can hit so many things neutral, and you can just usually use Thunderbolt. But as soon as there's a ground type, it's slowed down significantly. Carl's team is actually really well rounded here too. He's got some speed, he's got some ability to tank. I'm looking forward to see what he can do with this team. So Ian, again, Ian and Carl, is this going to be a very, very, very scary thing. The thing I would note for Ian specifically is he has the Mamoswine, which is an immediate threat to Carl's team. He has to find a way to deal with Mamoswine. Carl leads with the Electrode. It's not an Electrode, though. Electrodes are very fast, probably one of the fastest basic Pokemon in the entire game. So whatever Electrode does is going to get it off, its move off. So he sets up the screen, doesn't die to the Earthquake. So Carl now knows that this thing has Earthquake. He's got to be very careful. He switches out, gets the light screen up, and is going to hopefully bring in his counter here. Rotom Wash has the Levitate, dodges it. Nice play by Carl to maneuver around that. This Rotom Wash is going to be incredibly valuable with Levitate. Ian has to find a way to maneuver around that with his ground-type moves. And other than that, he has no other way to hit Electric in a very strong capacity. So with the light screen up, Carl is protected from ice moves, or the ice special moves at least. And he's set up to really do some damage here with the Levitate, unless Ian can find a way. So he's going to switch out, go to his Armadillo, predicts the Will-O-Wisp, misses it. That would have been a great thing to burn, because this is a physical attacker. That's really bad luck for Carl. 85% chance, I believe, on that Will-O-Wisp. Very good move to use. The correct choice. Just gets the burn on the second one, sticks it. Now this thing has less attack to threaten it with. Loses its leftovers, which is not that threatening. This Rotom Wash is extremely bulky, extremely good Pokemon, extremely good pick for an Electric-type team. Almost necessity with that Levitate here. So Carl gets the burn, feels like he has time to potentially set up. Even though that was a crit, he doesn't take that much damage to it. Electroviri is probably going to carry some kind of physical move. Ian's got to be careful. This thing could carry Brick Break or Earthquake, both things that can be extremely damaging to this Sand Slash. He's got to get out of there. The Brick Break is the choice I would have made because all of his teams are ice, but he was probably worried that Ian might have already predicted that in some way and maybe put in his Ninetales, but he gets Mamoswine in. The Earthquake is going to hit true. Electroviri is extremely fast. Carl is putting in work with his physical team, right? His physical Mon Electroviri right here. I don't know what Ian's plan is. He's probably looking to try to Earthquake this thing. I don't know if Sea Titan is faster. It's one of those newer Mons. I think Electroviri is faster, unless Ian is Scarfed. So this is going to hurt a little bit. But he gets the Citrus Berry. He's going for the Earthquake. That's going to knock out Electroviri. Good revenge kill right there. Way to find the right target to block some physical moves and get the right pick to get rid of that Electroviri, which is a very dangerous physical threat. He's still got a Draco Volt, which is another physical threat on the other side, but Carl's just going to put in his Rotom Wash because he knows this thing is using either potentially an ice or a ground move, and Rotom Wash is very absorbent of both of those. Just like your washing machine at home, it's always reliable and never breaks. With the burn on this guy, this thing is also feeling the same pain that Sand Slash is in, burning alive. Ice typically does not like to have fire moves hit them, let alone things that are strong physical types be burned. So Ian is now hurt with two of his physical types, goes in with that Cloyster, Nightshade on the Rotom Wash onto the Cloyster, ignores its very, very strong defenses. This is extremely dangerous. Ian goes for the Rock Blast. That's going to hit 5 times due to Cloyster's ability right there. The Volt Switch is going to knock out that Cloyster, send him packing, and now Carl gets a free switch as well to see and scout what Ian's going. Carl is absolutely cooking with this Electric-type team. Ian's got to find an answer. Both his physical sweepers that are not named Weavile are extremely hurt. I'd like to see the Ninetales in there to get that Aurora Veil up to absorb some of this damage. Sand Slash is probably slower than this Lantern. It might be threatened by a Hydro Pump here. This could be extremely dangerous if Ian stays in. And it's not going to do much damage in return. He actually is faster, but eats the Scald. That's going to do a chunk of damage to this this Sand Slash here. And Ian is in, again, a little bit of trouble. Gets the Rapid Spin, gets some speed up, but is eventually just going to sack this boy to a Scald. I don't know what his next plan is here. Again, the Ninetales is maybe what I would consider. He might get Hail at the end of the match. Okay, it's going to be the last Pokemon he sends in, which is, I don't play Pokemon ever. So Weavile is going to go in. If this Scald burns, okay, never mind. He goes for that. If that Paralysis, that would have been bad. Weavile is going to still do a lot of damage. to this Lantern. Lantern's usually more specially bulky. Doesn't get the final. If this burns, does a lot of trouble. 30% chance to burn on the Scald. Doesn't get the burn. Weavile is able to kill here and still remain a threat. Weavile actually still has a chance to kind of hopefully do some damage here. It is incredibly fast, does a lot of damage, but is frail as hell. So if it takes any hits, Electrode, for instance, can outspeed this thing. Dracovolt, if it's Scarfed, for example, could outspeed this thing. And Rotom Wash might be able to tank almost anything this thing does. So the fact that he throws Dracozolt in means he's probably Scarfed, because, or else he would probably take an Ice move and potentially die. I expect this thing to be Scarfed and choiced. So he probably is locked into one move. Carl is praying to the gods in heaven that he's not going to miss this move. I can see it on his screen. He's in the lead by 4 Pokemon and is still relying on faith. Misses the Fire Fang. That praying did absolutely nothing. But unfortunately, he dies to the Triple Axle. That is incredible amounts of damage. Carl should have picked probably just a normal move because Weavile is incredibly frail. Dracovolt also has Hustle. So you want to pick more accurate moves if possible. I believe Hustle makes it so your moves are not 100% accurate already. Fire Fang is already a 95% accuracy move. Probably could have just used any move to kill Ian there. Chose the move that was super effective, which is great, but it's also a move that doesn't have great accuracy already at 95. 95, again, if it's not 100, it's not 100. We'll just say it like that. Rotom Wash comes in. I don't know if Rotom Wash can take a move from this thing at being at this HP. Carl is in a lot of danger. I probably would have thrown in Electrode. Luckily, he uses Triple Axle, which Rotom Wash resists, and the Volt Switch should be able to knock this Weavile out. Carl was trying his best to throw. Now Carl is going off to the camera, even though he's made some misplays. I don't know what that's about. But with the misplays, he still goes back into his Magnezone. This Magnezone has Steel-type moves, incredibly dangerous to Ice types, very super effective things. If Carl just clicks Flash Cannon, it's probably over for Ian. This thing might have Sturdy, so Ian might need 2 hits to knock out this Magnezone here. His Ninetales finally comes in. Aurora Veil would have been really useful here. I'm not sure on that, though. Ninetales, Professor Ian, using his mathematics, is going to hopefully command this thing to have a ground move all of a sudden, even though it doesn't have it on its type list. We will see. Moonblast is not going to be very effective against Steel types, unfortunately. The Steel move comes in. It's Fairy, it's Ice, it's dead. It gets melted by Steel fuel beams right there, is what I believe the meme is. And now he just has to click that Steel Cannon again, or Flash Cannon again, and it's going to get melted yet again. It's very unfortunate. Magnezone kind of blocks off Ian's team. He needs that Mamoswine to be able to deal with this Pokemon. That's why I said early on that Carl maneuvered around that Mamoswine. As soon as it goes down, he has a lot of Pokemon that can deal with this team very well. The MVPs were certainly the Levitate and the Magnezone. Very threatening Pokemon towards Ian's Ice team. Once the Mamoswine goes down, it's very difficult. But good match by the boys.
Ooh, good match. Good match.
Ooh. I can already tell my commentary is starting to get a little bit snarky. By the end of the stream, it might be even more. So, I believe these guys have met before, IRL. So,
once or twice.
Though. Maybe once or twice. Ghost versus Steel. Will is picking Steel. Chris is versing using Ghost right here. I believe Aegislash is on both of these teams right now.
Oh.
The Aegislash Battle of the Century, like lords battling at the castle, the guards command them to go forth.
Actually, there's not a Aegislash on Chris's team.
Okay, well, he changed that for me. Ghost is a type that, before this tournament, I had extremely highly rated. Has 2 immunities, which is obviously exceptionally good. When you're playing monotype teams, immunities are probably more valuable than anything else, because I didn't talk about this most with the other teams, but I wanted to kind of break up the educational portion among the teams. But basically, when you're trying to build your team, you should always think, what is the most dangerous type that I should be facing as a player towards my team? And how can I get around it? So in regards to the Ghost team, he has to deal... Luckily, Chris only really has to maneuver around specifically Dark and other Ghost. Well, he's not going to have to verse many other Ghosts because he's the Ghost guy. So he really just has to only focus on Dark, which makes his team building probably easier than a lot of other players, which we'll talk about that later when we get to him. But Ghost also has a lot of things that can do tricksy stuff, like Destiny Bonds. A lot of them are kind of do like some taunts and stuff, Will-O-Wisp. It Also blocks rapid spin too, which is another note that is extremely underrated too. I will say that a lot of the reasons why it fell so far was a lot of the Pokemon that were in it got nerfed or removed. So like Annihilate is gone, Goldango is gone, Poundstone is gone, for example. So he still has Skeledirge, which is probably one of the best Pokemon ever introduced. It's extremely strong. And notice that he also has Mimikyu on 2 teams as well. Fun Pokemon right there. Steel was, for the most part, one of the best types in the game. It's gotten weakened a little bit, but it's still incredibly, incredibly strong. It is blocks a lot of things that are, besides fighting and ground, which are important, but a lot of types are not very good against it. And especially if you pair it with the right thing, like, say, Corviknight or something. The thing about Steel is, I know it's rated as usually a pretty defensive one, and with being able to block, like, poison types or, like, poison damage and such, your tanks just stay around longer. It really does hit hard, too. Excadrill hits hard, same with Corviknight. And Ferrothorns is a great utility in terms of, like, setting up hazards and such. Ghost and Steel both have a very respective chance to beat it. I respect going with the immediate fire Ghost to annihilate this Steel team. If this thing starts setting up Torch Songs, Will is in a lot of trouble. This is already a really bad matchup. Will has to find a way to deal with Torch Song immediately. It is incredibly powerful. It boosts your special attack each time you hit it, and it does damage too. He has to probably throw in his Penguin right now, because that is going to die. Thorny Boy gets annihilated by the Torch Song right there. This thing is incredibly scary. Sip Studios JC. Napoleon comes in. Great pick to deal with this. He's got to use a haze move immediately. He can't try to kill this thing. He has to try to haze this. Hopefully he has Whirlwind on his Napoleon right now. Nice switch out to the Sinistachia to dodge the Surf right there. I still think he could probably attack, but still taking no damage on that thing is also really good. He's your sweeper. This thing is reward the fans. The fans are being rewarded by watching you guys battle right now. This is a great battle. Chris is hopefully considering his options here. I don't know what he has on his Sinistachia. I'm going to say this thing's name wrong all day. I'm just going to call it Green Tea. He uses the sub. Ice Beam probably will break this sub. Nice scouting tool right there. No problems there. As I mentioned with Ghost type in the pre-gamble, basically, that they have a lot of tricky things that they can do. Gets the burn. Not going to really matter towards Empoleon because of the special attacker. Chris is in a lot of danger. If he can get rid of this Empoleon, he pretty much has a great chance at winning, because Torch Song should be able to wrap up from there. All of Will's team is incredibly slow except for Excadrill. He roosts that off. Again, luckily the burn's not going to really matter. I expect this Mimikyu to have like Sword Stance or some way to set up potentially here. And that's what Mimikyus do, because it has a free block with its ability Disguise. It basically takes the damage. Goes for the Sword Stance as predicted. Stab me, daddy. That Swords Dance might actually do that. Maybe goes for the King's Shield here to block that off. A Steel move will wreck Mimikyu, but luckily, like I said, Chris gets that block guaranteed. So he goes for the Play Rough, resisted. Interesting choice there. I don't know if he was going for a Predict or not. Gets the Iron Head. Disguise blocks the first one. Still takes damage because it was nerfed in this generation. Absolutely, Chris cannot take another one of those. Has to consider his options here. The Shadow Sneak from Stab Me Daddy also could be very dangerous. Aegislash, when it's in sword form, has incredible amounts of damage, attack stats. Switches out, eats a Play Rough on his Steel guy. I don't know why Chris is picking Play Rough into a Steel type team that is all going to be Steel. They're all going to resist his Play Rough guaranteed. It's a very interesting choice. I don't know if it'll pay off for him, Cotton. Probably could pick out like a Ghost move instead that is not resisted by the Steel. Misses the Play Rough. Another fact about Play Rough is it can miss a lot. It's not playing rough, it's playing nice by helping out its opponents right there. Gets the Ice Beam. Chris needs to pick Shadow Sneak. Thankfully, finally clicks the right move, gets in the right headspace, clicks the fast move, priority move, and the stab right there is going to be great. So now Magnezone comes in. Chris basically can maybe potentially one-shot this. This thing has Sturdy. It's disappointment that it does not have Sturdy. Gets critted by the Shadow Claw. Gets annihilated. Sturdy might have been the correct choice there. Probably was Analytic, which would have did more damage. Unfortunately, dies in the process. Corviknight can wall this thing off exceptionally well, even though it's +2. It takes a lot of damage, but any other thing would have been extremely dangerous. Goes for the +2 defense. If Chris brings in a special attacker, he can still maneuver around this. I expect him to go to Glaceon or Torch Song Man, Skeledirge. to maneuver around this guy. I will say body press is a real concern. However, he is Ghost, so it's not a concern anymore. That body press Corviknight strategy is not going to work. Hopefully, Will is aware of that. Torch Song is incredibly dangerous. As noted before, he does not have Napoleon anymore. This might be just a Torch Song sweep. Get the torches ready, because it's going to be the Hounds of War after this fucking annihilates this. Metal Crow's solid, just like that series got annihilated recently in our views. Rest in peace. Hopefully, more people go watch that. Drill Me Daddy can come in. Maybe go for the Earthquake here. Strong move right there. But now the Earthquake is disabled. If this thing is Scarfed, it will have to struggle to do any moves. Goes for the Destiny Bond. Rapid Spin is immune to Ghost. Way to dodge the Destiny Bond, clearly on purpose by Will there. Even though he's going against a Ghost type. Clicks the normal type move, which is an interesting choice. His balloon pops. Goes for the Sword Stance. He probably has EQ, Rapid Spin, and maybe Rock Slide, if I had to guess. Goes for the Iron Head instead. I don't know why he didn't click that in the first place. Dies to the Destiny Bond. Some tricksy stuff there. Chris is having himself a giggle over that Rapid Spin play, I would presume, and getting the Destiny Bond to work. Around the Monitor, a series that is going to be around for a long time and has been around for a long time. Not going to die to a Shadow Sneak, clearly. But gets weak armor. Fire move going to absolutely... Oh, he goes for the Sword Stance. The only chance he has a chance at losing! Chris goes for the greedy play. Shadow Sneak might be able to go through his entire team. His entire team is very squishy to the Shadow Sneak. Very dangerous. I believe if this crits, he could actually die or goes for the Torch Song and ends the match. If that Shadow Sneak crit, it could have been very tumultuous waters for Chris, but finally gets through that match. Very scary moment right there. The boys are back. Skelly Dirge is a monster. You saw it right there against that Steel team.
Hell yeah.
The Save Data boys pulling off 3 wins in a row against their sub-pixel counterparts right there.
Let's go.
Very close matches right there. Very interesting choices, gentlemen.
I wanted to show off all the names of my team.
Okay.
Chris, it was really funny. I shouted out in the chat that those were a lot of locations that you and Will worked at together, which was very funny.
Oh, they're also all dead things.
Yeah. They're ghost
And then of
types.
course the Gengar's name is of course
That was the gimmick.
Gakgar.
Yeah. Ian versus Chris. Chris has to immediately go back in. You would think the fatigue is potentially going to take advantage on this. These Pokemon matches are extremely strenuous. All right, Ian. Professor Ian with the calculating type advantage.
You're goddamn right I did. That is 100% intentional. I was picking dark. Fuck you. Saw that coming. Now it's time for me to lose the match, though.
All right, let's
so
definitely
please give me the
ourselves to get this
victory with the
thing
pick.
started.
Poison is a great defensive type. It's immunity to poison spikes, and it is immunity to obviously like toxin. The only problem is it can't hit steel. And steel, people like to pair up with things to make it defensive. It hits only things like fairy and grass, which fairy is important. Grass is not as common, so it's not really an offensive type. It's definitely a defensive type. You got to be careful around grounds, but he has ways to avoid that with like wheezing with levitate and such. Fairy is one of the best types in the game. I'll get right to it. It's extremely strong. It has an immunity to dragon. Poor Carl. It's very, very good in terms of offensively and both defensively. I think it resists a lot of common types. Dark specifically and fighting are very valuable to resist because a lot of people pick up those moves. Fairy also has a lot of tricky things that it can do. A lot of its Pokemon that fall in its category have a lot of utility moves as well. And I think you can't go wrong again with like most members, even though there's not many Pokemon that fall into Fairy type. They're all very good. He's got chances. He's got things to like lead off with like Klefki and stuff, and Clefable can upset and do a lot of different things as well. As well as just really heavy, consistent hitters like Primarina and Azumarill.
Oh shit,
This
they don't
one's
care.
for you. They just don't care. They're going, this is the grudge match of the century. While Zach's setting up the things, just enjoy these guys as they get straight into this hot action battle. So Toxapex comes out. Klefki is very dangerous. Going to set some spikes up there. Could have Prankster.
Oh.
Toxic's a guy. That's pretty brutal on that as well. Got to watch out for that guy who is immune to your toxic moves. Ian's got to find a way to get around this Klefki because it's going to be a pain in the ass with its immunity to all of Ian's very important stab moves and its ability to drain your health one by one. I believe Fuck Yourself is going to use some spikes here. I am very offended that he told me to go do that, but he's going to fuck Ian's teams up with these spikes. Never mind, sets up the screens. This is a screener and a spike setter Very good choice right here. Ian goes in for the infestation. I don't know if he really wants to stay in on this clef key. I feel like he's just going to let this clef key set up, do all of its screens, light screen and reflect, which boost their both special defense and defense respectively.
Oh, sorry.
So he goes in.
Swap their sides.
Yes.
Thank you.
He goes in for the Slow King Galarian form, I believe, which is poison and I think psychic. Foul play. Hits that thing hard, goes in for the flamethrower, but the light screen, this thing is bulkier than what it normally is, tells that Slowking to go fuck itself with its stupid hat. Foul play is not going to do that much damage to Slowking because it doesn't have much attack. Foul play goes off the opponent's attack. Still the correct move choice. That's probably the only move that this Clef Key is carrying with both screens and spikes, so he has to go for it. I think trading Clef Key for spikes and screens here is still really good in Chris's favor. Ian, I'd probably get one more spikes up if possible. I think that's more valuable than doing damage to the Slowking, and then you can just revenge kill it anyway. And you're still burning screen turns. Brings in Weezing for the foul play. Great switch, gets the free thing. Hopefully Ian gets the free switch. Hopefully Ian has a way to deal with this Clef Key with either flamethrower or something like that, just to get rid of this annoying keys that you probably lost in the back of your couch. Weezing with the Gentleman Dashing Weezing, very great Pokemon at basically neutralizing both what's neutralizing gas and levitate. It's the Will-O-Wisp Predict on fucking Azumarill. I don't know if he planned that, folks. That's the best person to fucking burn. That Azumarill just got absolutely destroyed right there. I do not know if Ian was going for that or not. I'm going to say he's a professor. He mathematically tricked Chris into going for that switch at that current moment. It was a very bold move for Chris to switch a physical attacker into Weezing, which is primarily a physical wall. Usually carries stuff like Will-O-Wisp and such like that, and can stat haze your belly drums. So it goes for the Primarina. Gets the confusion on the strange stream right there. I don't know what's in that stream, but it's definitely confusing Primarina. She can't think straight. Goes in for the Muck on the switch right here. Hits itself in confusion. Muck is going to hit this thing really hard with poison attacks. Chris has got to be careful. Probably consider putting Clef Key in to absorb this poison attack right here. Might be a gunk shot, might be a poison jab. Who knows? If Ian predicts around that, though, it could be very devastating. I'd probably switch in Clef Key. And if Ian knows that he's potentially going to switch in Clef Key, could go for Fire Punch. This Muck is extremely dangerous. Goes for the Clef Key, blocks the poison jab, like predicted, like clockwork. That's a great move by Chris to try to get back in here. Foul play, unfortunately, is not going to do much damage. However, Chris could set up the Reflect to potentially get this physical Mon a little bit hurt. I would consider the light screen to be more valuable. I do agree. There's more special attackers than physical attackers on Ian's team. I believe Muck is the only physical attacker I see right now. Ian is unfortunately doesn't carry the Fire Punch, or else I believe he would have clicked it to kill this Clef Key. This thing has gotten both screens. Incredible value. If he sets up this, I think he keeps Clef Key alive to block poison moves, and this fairy is going to immediately block any moves from Drain Punch. I probably would never consider using Drain Punch on Chris's team. They're all fairies. Fighting is going to be weakened by that on almost every Pokemon that you first. I would consider not doing that. Moonblast is going to hit this thing. This is going to be a very slow-paced battle here. These guys can't really do much damage to each other right now. He's got to click a poison move. Worried about that Clef Key coming back in. This Muck is, I guess. People were shitting on Clefable. I think Clefable is incredibly broken. It has Magic Guard. Doesn't take any damage from anything that's not actual moves. Poison doesn't damage it. So it can just be status and tank in there. And there's nothing to stop. Oh, never mind. Crit. Poison Jab. Finally, Ian clicks the Poison Jab right there. Got a little greedy with the second Calm Mind. Should have considered potentially attacking there. Doesn't really have much to deal with this Muck, though. It's got to go with something that might hit fast and hard. I believe his best chance is probably Primarina. Goes with Hatrine, which is extremely dangerous. I believe a Poison Jab or a Dark move will still hurt, even though Dark is still immune to the Fairy, or Fairy resists the Dark move. Poison Jab's still going to hurt here. Primarina's mostly a special wall as opposed to a physical wall. Sets up the Trick Room, which is an interesting move. I believe most of Ian's things are actually slower than Chris's at this moment, or close to it. That might not be the benefit here. Hatrine gets crit. Another crit poison from this Muck, running an absolute terror onto Chris's team. This thing with the Poison Jab, all Ian has to do is click Poison Jab on something that is not named Clef Key,
and it's going to be extremely dangerous. Gotta consider switching in Klefki to block those if he can predict when they're going to come. So this muck is extremely dangerous, just like the pollution in your local cities. So please recycle, everybody, because you'll have this muck tearing up your fairy type, which is probably what they deserve at this rate. Primarina going to come in here with the Trick Room. I believe Muck might have the speed. The Trick Room, Chris's own Trick Room with the Poison Touch, Poison Jab. Large chance to get the poison on this guy. Poison seeping through this ballerina's fucking veins right now, dying a slow and painful death. Finally puts the Clef Key in to avoid that Poison Touch. Again, the Trick Room probably did more harm than it actually did help there. Gotta look at your opponent's Mons when considering it, because Trick Room makes it so any slower Pokemon is now faster in the Trick Room. And if you look, Ian's got a guy made of fucking sludge, a mushroom, a guy laying down, Pokemon that doesn't move. Gotta look at those Pokemon and consider that those guys are going to be slower in some capacity just by just looking at those Pokemon. They look very slow. I don't think Muck is going anywhere very quickly unless he's using his pilot license at this rate. Drain Punch kills the Clef Key. Clef Key is a very important Pokemon for Chris. This might be the beginning of the end for him to lose his only immunity to to Ian's team. Ian did have the massive type advantage here. The only chance he has is setting up with George M. But this thing even has Dark type. So a Ghost Fairy type is still at a massive disadvantage, even though he has both screens here. You can see that Shadow Claw crits and still does very little damage right there. Gets the Disguise broken with the Poison Jab. Yeah, Chris is now lamenting how powerful this Muck is. Very strong Pokemon with Poison Touch, Poison Jab, Poison City, all kinds of stuff right there. Poison Jab doing incredible damage. Might want to consider using a Dark move knockoff to knock off his things as well. Sooner or later, this Reflect is going to go down, and Chris is going to be very susceptible to this Muck. Has no way to deal with this thing. At least it can't heal back up with the Drain Punch right here. Incredible spot for Ian to be in with 6 mods up. Chris is only at 3 with a burn, and a couple of his guys are already chunked to hell and back. Brings the Toxapex in to wall off this little disguisey Pikachu boy right here. Can use Baneful Bunker to give this thing poison and send that energy back to its attacker. He has a lot of ways to deal with this. Could Scald and burn this thing as well. Extremely dangerous position for Chris to be in. I don't know how he gets out of this. Primarina is the only chance he has. He has to hope for something really lucky. This thing has a Rocky Helmet. Dies to the Rocky Helmet. Very brutal way to go when you're crunching down on rocks. I don't know where he puts that helmet, but it's somewhere on that big mold of a Pokemon right there. Weezing comes in to potentially wall this. Gets the Rest tech off. This is a Rest Primarina. I have not seen that tech since 2017, back when the Rest tech was huge in the competitive scene. I'm making it up, by the way. I don't see Rest ever on Primarina. But it actually came in handy there to get the poison off. So Amoonguss coming in to use a grass move here, obviously. Sleep Talk Moonblast. Unfortunately, there's not much damage there to be done. Anytime Moonblast is used by Chris at all, it's very bad because these are all poison types. Again, incredibly dangerous to be using fairy moves against this poison type team. However, Sleep Talk randomly selects one of the moves for you. Gets Rest, unfortunately, right there. Giga Drain, with the screen still being up, does not much damage. Amoonguss more known for its utility and ability to kind of just be a burden with Regenerator, Leech Seed, Rage Powder, and VGC, rather than doing a lot of damage. So that Giga Drain, once the screen goes down, still going to do a decent bit of damage, but not as crazy damage as you would expect from a grass versus a water. Goes for the Sleep Talk. Hopefully Chris realizes that Rest, when you use Rest, it automatically always uses 2 turns. So you always click, you'll always unrest on that second turn out of Sleep Talk. A good important note to have when you're playing Pokemon. Rest always goes 2 turns, I believe. So you'll see it here when we see it. Spore, he's already asleep, baby. That's exactly where he wants to be. Moon blasting his way to victory, hopefully, against this poison team. It's going to be a very slow battle here, unfortunately. I hope that one of these boys realizes that they could just switch another poison type that does a lot of damage. He could just put in his Muck and do a lot of damage here. I believe. Gets the Scald, gets the Burn. Not going to really matter to Toxapex because it doesn't use physical attacks. It primarily beats you by outlasting you. Unfortunately, there's not much this Toxapex can do to this Primarina because it is a rest tech Primarina. So I'm hoping Ian switches out to something that is a little bit more effective than this. Gets the Toxic. Again, not going to matter because this thing has rest. Ian's got to switch something else in here. He knows that this thing is using Scald, or potentially can use Scald on him. Should consider bringing his guy in that has Water Absorb. That might be the play right here. Hopefully he considers pressing that button and putting him in. He could also put in Muck, which would do a tremendous amount of damage to this Primarina. However, might be slower at this current state of things. So Slow King is also potentially slower. This Primarina might be able to turn things around with the rest tech. It also might be able to eat any and all time that we had saved on this tournament by stalling it out. This is exceptionally good for us because we're not on a budget or time schedule at all. Slows in the Slow King right here. I think Slow King is slower than Primarina. Unfortunately, I think if one special poison move hits this Primarina, it probably is 2-shot from this range unless it's a crit, but Slow King does a lot of damage. Got to be careful that he rests here, but he should be able to kill him in the rest cycle. I think Slow King can take anything that Primarina does, though. It's rather specially bulky, as you can see right there. The burn is annoying, but uses Earthquake, which is a questionable choice because this is a fairy type here. Again, if Ian just clicks his poison, the big purple button on his screen, he has a high chance at winning this game. Refutes that, wants to make this battle more interesting. I respect the professor who is researching in mathematics to not understand how the universe works and spends all day in his room reading books and studying things that are numbers as opposed to how to deal with people, especially this Primarina. It's very interesting here. Throws in Clodsire for the first time, uses the rest, gets rid of the Toxic here. Maybe one of these guys will use their poison move, and only one of them has a poison move, so I'm hoping he clicks that button, one of those guys, that shall not be named here, hopefully picks that button, goes for the Sleep Talk, resists it, because, again, why not? Goes for the Stealth Rock, even though most of his guys are almost already dead. Respect. You gotta know that this is a great move right here. It's insane that these guys can get up in the morning sometimes. I don't know. That thing does not have Water Absorb, even though it has a chance to do it. So, no Water Absorb is going to make this match more interesting here than it should be. I don't know why he's using Earthquake on his Primarina instead of using a poison move. For the love of God, Ian, if he loses the poison, if he loses the poison matchup here, I don't know what I'm going to say, because commentary cannot handle this. This has to be on purpose right here. Ian could just throw in the Muck, stalling for who knows what, throws into Wheezing. This is insanity. A fairy type versus a fairy type. I don't know if it has a poison move at all, but this thing still has rest. I don't know what we're doing here. We're eating up all of the time. I'm losing my voice. Rest goes in right now. Strange Stream, not going to do much damage. Ian could just switch into his Muck at this current state of things. It resists the fairy move. It might eat the skull, but that's a risk you got to take at this, man. You're losing Pokemon for free. Chris is just sitting cross-armed, thinking to himself, how much time of Ian's life am I going to waste on this tournament by clicking this rest button? This tech is insane right here. I doubted the rest talk, but apparently if the Sailor Man uses his goggles and misses every poison opportunity here, the Will-O-Wisp is not going to matter. I don't know why any of them are reacting to that, because he has rest. Goes for the Scald, gets the crit. Thank God, somebody fucking win this match. Please, gets the confusion. Maybe this is the only chance we have to win. Holy shit. Somebody's going to potentially click a button that might actually do damage here. This is craziness. Oh my God, somebody crit with the goddamn Scald. Please, do something. Use a move that does damage. Ian, for the love of God, you are a poison type trainer. Use something. You're poisoning my voice with your gameplay. My God, man. Please, consider using a move that is a poison type. For the love of God, you're confused. Hit yourself. Please, use a move that does damage. Rest again. It comes in. How much rest PP does he have? He's still got 3 rests. We're going to be here all day, boys and girls. My God. For the love of God, please. Sleep Talks, Moonblast. Wow, that's not much damage. It's almost like he's a fairy type. Wow, a crit. It's craziness going on. The amount of sheer audacity that these boys are displaying with their Supreme combat knowledge. I cannot contain it. Goes for the strange stream special attack. It's almost like Ian is not reading that his special attack is decreased right now. Probably should consider switching it out to a poison move. Chris reacted to the camera. I wish I could see what he's saying. Instead, I have to be commentating over the match of the century right here. Wow, 13% gets the confusion. Maybe goes for the rest. Goes for the scald. Kills it. Finally, moving on to a different Pokemon. Maybe he'll actually click his muck, which could have killed this thing years ago at this rate. I've almost grown up into a full man with a full retirement plan after watching this match. Goes for the Amoonguss, gets the confusion, goes for the rest, wastes more time, gets the Giga Drain. I'm almost praying for a Giga Drain crit or something else to happen. Chris cannot kill this thing. Amoonguss cannot kill this thing. This is going to waste so much time unless somebody budges on doing a different move. Please, for the love of God, switch your Pokemon out. Nobody can kill either one of these guys. This is going to be a classic wall. Nobody does anything. I guess Ian just doesn't have a poison move. I hover over it. Scott's Giga Drain. Spore. Not that great. We have a rest. He might run out of rest PP. This is now how the match is going to go. Sly Cooper LP. Never going to happen. Just like this match is never going to end. This is crazy. Oh my God. The Giga Drain going in for the damage right there. Maybe he's out of rest PP. Finally realizes that Rest actually wakes up after 2 turns. Learning in real time how to play the game is crazy. If only Ian could take something from Chris right here and actually use a poison move against this fairy type team, we'd be in a better spot right here. Unfortunately, Ian has a fake PhD because this is absolute insanity. Holy shit. Giga Drain goes for the thing, gets the burn, does not much damage. Please, for the love of God, please kill it. Please, it's almost out of rest PP. How much more do we have? 1 rest. Goes for the Moon Blast. Not going to do much damage. Goes for the Giga Drain. Please crit. God fucking damn it. Now he's going to go for a rest, which is going to bring us back to square one. This is absolutely awful. Please, for the love of God. Who puts rest on the Primarina? This is terrible. I cannot take this. Wakes up. Uses rest. Wow. He's insane. Laughing his ass off. I cannot take this anymore. This is so garbage of a fucking match. I hate these gentlemen. I will never forgive them for this. Goes for the Giga Drain. Out of rest. Switches. What? And then the Giga Drain is burned. Oh my God. Goes for the Citra Berry Tech. I can't believe this shit. This is insane. Oh my God. He can't belly drum. Can't do anything. He's burned. Go for the Giga Drain. Please, for the love of God, Ian. Click Giga Drain. Oh my God. It's almost like you only have 2 moves. It's crazy. I don't know what your other 2 moves are, but you haven't clicked them. It's insane. Your Pokemon ability choices are so nuts. Ian nodding his head after killing a Pokemon, almost like he thinks he's played well this match. It's crazy. I cannot deal with this. Chris saying go next. I cannot believe this shit. Goes for the Moon Blast, does no damage. Please, Giga Drain. The special attack. Switch your Pokemon out, Ian. Read the thing. Please, go in. Switch your guys. Please, for the love of God. Ian, switch out your team. You can't deal with this thing. It's walling you off. Use a poison move. I don't know what your other moves are. You're almost out of Giga Drains. For the love of God. Please, click your muck. Click your muck. Please. Ian, your special attack. You're down. No more rest. Moon Blast. I don't know what Chris's plan is. Chris is actually playing this correctly for how little chance he has at winning. I can't actually fault him. It's just annoying the living shit out of me. That's a little unfortunate. Ian Gibson wins the battle, but in my heart, he lost the battle, and as I lost my voice. My God.
What the fuck are you doing? Use a fucking poison move!
I don't have, I have 2 poison moves.
You're what?
They sent me types. It's fighting for Jake and dragon for Carl.
Fighting versus dragon.
I was worried about this.
I would always be worried about versus dragon.
Yeah, dragon's pretty good.
Alright, dragon hits hard, hits fast, and just brings the hurt. If it wasn't for fairy, this type would just run over basically everybody. This thing tries to out base stat total you, and like I think it has the highest average base stat total. So these things all just like hit very hard, have really well-rounded stats. So even if you hit them, they're pretty tanky. Look to just see Carl just fucking run people over by just having higher stats than people, rather than having higher strats sometimes. Sometimes it's just better having higher stats. Fighting is, again, one of these classic offensive types. Another thing I kind of don't envy Jake around is finding a Mon or a Pokemon that has special moves in fighting bracket besides Lucario is a pain in the ass. And you can notice that most of his guys do physical damage. However, they are not weak to Stealth Rocks. They hit really hard. They are fast, They can go for revenge kills, etc., etc. They have a great priority move and usually bullet punch or mock punch. Priority being that they can go +6 over priority, and it beats out any speed tier. So you can go +6 and -6 with things like roar and whirlwind, etc., etc. And mock punch is great that it beats other things out via doing priority moves over speed. So, okay, dragon versus fighting. Most notably, fighting, like I mentioned in the pre-stream, extremely aggressive offensive type. But the problem is he's versing a type that is also extremely offensive and has the higher stats usually to back it up. Carl has big note that he has Gudra. Yeah, there's nothing to stop Carl from just clicking Outrage on his entire team. Here's the thing. Jake has to come up with something that can tank this hit. Luckily, it's going to go for Outrage. Garchomp is extremely dangerous. If it's Scarfed, it's moving faster. If it's banded, it's going to hurt. So you got to come up with some way to deal with this. Vacuum Wave is not going to cut it. Going to die here. Jake's one chance is this thing gets confused. Has the Lumberry for the confusion. Look at this tech from Carl. Breaks the confusion immediately. And this Garchomp is going to absolutely tear holes. This Earthquake could be very, very big damage on this Lucario. Unless this Lucario has something up its sleeve. Maybe a really crit close combat here, banded or something like that. Still slower. I believe that means Carl has to be choice banded or choice scarfed, I believe. Gets that circle throw, gets him out, which is actually a great tech because he needed to get rid of that outraging Garchomp. He could not have taken an extra hit there. Surprisingly great there. Good on the drain punch right there to sustain himself a little bit, but takes damage from, I believe, the Rocky Helmet. Really unlucky. Smash Bros goes down, just like its, its sight or its stake in the battle format right now, where tournaments aren't being run as much. I don't know what we're going for. Halucha's best fan Jake right there. Halucha in the chat, rise up. Hopefully your Mon does not immediately die. There's a lot of good things you could do with Halucha. If it loses its item, it gets unburdened, gets a supreme amount of speed. So if it has a Citrus Berry right here, that would be great. Revenge gets the kill. Halucha's Revenge. Oh my god. It's going nuts right now. Gets the kill on Comio. Rocky Helmet does damage, but he still lives. I believe this Garchomp is scarfed. Carl looking really weirdly into the camera, like he has to make an important decision right here, as he could just click Outrage button against his team. Goes for the Outrage, clicks it. Wow, amazing gameplay from this Dragon-type team. Not really showing much off to the other teams that might be scouting this match and how to deal with this Dragon-type team. Actually, something to note, too, when you're battling other people, other trainers might be able to kind of gauge how you're going to battle against this team. Jake goes for the high jump kick, gets the kill. Both kill each other on the rough skin. Craziness right there. Machamp's the lone survivor of this brutal battle. The outraging Garchomp remains of all these fighting types, just absolutely shredding these things. The shark in the waters, and these fighting type Pokemon are just basically swimming out there unattended by lifeguards. This is a Baywatch movie I do not want to see. Oh my god, he's got hands. Goes in. That's not Haxorus. Haxorus might just click the same Outrage button. Carl, with the strategy of clicking the same button over and over again, learning from Ian's mistakes, tries to click moves that are actually damaging moves. He's got hands, takes the damage, dies, gets confused, but wasn't confused when he clicked Outrage and won that battle. Fighting type, as predicted, very offensive, but as soon as it runs into something that is potentially more dangerous offensively, is pretty crazy. So we got to find a way to shut that down. Good work, boys.
Nice. That was tough.
That was a dragon type team right there. That was a dragon, right? That was dragon doing outrage
Dragging
things.
these nuts.
Yeah. You already said that. It's almost like the creativity is out. Yeah, it's almost like the creativity and using outrage over and over again has infiltrated your jokes as well. It's kind of crazy.
I'm just glad for the sake of
Halucha got a kill.
Certain Subpixel fans. I was glad that Halucha did not immediately die.
we didn't take 60 turns, so there's that.
9 turns, a new record, I think, for the tournament so far. So congratulations on that.
Halucha did get a kill and killed the guy who killed he killed Kilomio, which is crazy. All right, Steel versus Ground, another type matchup disadvantage for a sub. In this match, this time it's the Subpixel boy who has it. Ground, yeah, Ground is one of my favorite types in the game. It's resistant to rocks, which is really nice. My big thing about Zach's Ground team when he showed it to me, was he'll even acknowledge this, he didn't really have a special sweeper, which is hard to do for some types. Now, there's different kinds of sweepers. There's physical and special. Special obviously means that they use special moves which helps, attack a stat that maybe you're targeting specifically, versus physical, which is, obviously attacking defense as opposed to special attack. So it's good to have a good balance of both. Zach goes for the Gliscor right here. So again, Will has tremendous amount of disadvantage that he's going to have to climb over to beat Zach. Zach has ground type advantage. There's nothing to stop Zach from just clicking Earthquake on his entire fucking team here. So Will has to keep anybody who has Levitate or a Balloon or Corviknight alive. Look to those guys to be incredibly pivotal for them to deal with. Zach switching into a Surf. Crazy play there. I guess he didn't want to take the Surf on the Gliscor as well. Maybe consider using his Water Absorb guy that he might have right there. Might have been the play instead. What a start. Not Ian, sorry, there's a lot of subpixel names here. Will gets the trick. The trick tech Tark Runegus puts the Black Sludge. It's going to do residual damage to that Napoleon. Going to have a shorter rule over the French than he expected with that Black Sludge being poisoned in his food every morning. That's not great. He is now down. Being able to kill this Napoleon is going to be nice, but he still has to be worried about this Surf damage. Got to throw in the Clodsire here is probably the best answer, in my opinion. He has Water Absorb, hopefully, on his his dude. He also can use Excadrill to get a revenge kill. Maybe go for a speedy Earthquake right there. Probably Scarfed. Most Excadrills are choiced in some way. So what Will has to realize is if this thing is choiced, he has to throw in Corviknight to dodge this Earthquake. That's his only play. If this thing is choiced, it's going to be a lot of damage. So he throws in his own... Oh my god, he throws in his own Excadrill with the Balloon! That's why Zach was grimacing in the camera. Sees that he has to switch out and take a free Earthquake. Goes for the Earthquake anyway. Gets the Earthquake back. Loses that Excadrill. Very surprising play from Zach. Not realizing he has an Air Balloon. Oh my god. Is Zach going to potentially lose this match? This Excadrill with an Air Balloon is insanely threatening to Zach's team. He needs to pop that balloon before he can do massive damage. He's got to go. Ursaluna might be slower than this Excadrill. 2 Earthquakes might kill. Zach going with probably some kind of, I believe, Fire Punch move or something, maybe a Mach Punch or something like that. Might be it. Goes for the Drain Punch. Massive damage. Gets the full HP. Will needs a crit in order to kill this Ursaluna. This Ursaluna has guts, and he's burned, and he's going to do a lot of damage. This bear just got his honey stolen by this stupid fucking drill, and he's going to lay into this guy with a Drain Punch. Will has to come up with an answer sooner or later. Might consider going to the Aegis Slash. Goes for the Corviknight instead. Resists the Facade. Great play by Will. Resisting that. Will slowly but surely draining this thing with its, it needs to dodge the Drain Punch. The Flame Orb is slowly but surely ticking away at this Ursaluna. Maybe it needs to consider going to the Aegis Slash here. Goes for the Sword Stance. He absolutely needs to go to Aegis Slash to dodge this Drain Punch. Goes for the Body Press. Nearly kills it. Drain Punch is going to recycle all of that HP. That's a pivotal moment. If you want to save a very turning point in the match, if that would have killed, Zach would have been in a lot of trouble. I think the Aegis Slash would have been the safer play there, but Zach gets all of his HP back, still is in a very precarious spot. Will needs to go to something that is absolutely faster, or he's going to be in a very troublesome spot. Goes for a Pokemon that I do not believe is faster. Unfortunately, this Drain Punch is going to be an absolutely chunky amount of damage with the 2x attack. Guts boosted Ursaluna. Goes for the Earthquake instead. I don't know why he didn't do Drain Punch. He would have recovered all of his HP. That was maybe a misplay by Zach. He gets the kill on his tanky guy, but now he has a Gliscor and a Clodsire. If he can find a way to get through his Magnezone and the Excadrill no longer has a Balloon, this could be Zach's game. We'll see. Gliscor has Poison Heal. It's going to be a very bad matchup unless specifically the tech is he has Hidden Power Ice. This Magnezone can't do anything. It's going to be very disappointing to this combat. He needs to have Hidden Power Ice or a Flash Cannon needs to crit in order to kill this Gliscor. This Gliscor is just going to quick Earthquake, run through Ian's team, run through this team. He did not need to go for that. He did not need to go for that 2x attack. Greeting out for that. I think that was a misplay by Zach. I think that was a very big misplay. Just needed to click the Earthquake there. Would have one-shot this thing. Goes for the Fire Beam instead. Pops the Balloon. Actually, that guy had a Balloon, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Probably should have went for the Fire Fang 2 times in a row, though. Clodsire, I made a mistake. If Magnezone gets a Flash Cannon off, and I didn't realize the Balloon, I'm sorry, there's a lot going on right now. Is Poke Will going to pull it off? Flash Cannon hits this thing, goes for the Yawn.
I think if Will switches out to potentially Excadrill, this could be a massive play. I believe this Clodsire only has ground moves, but I believe Aegislash is going to be incredibly big. That is, I believe, hidden power. I don't know what hidden power that was. Zach expected him to switch out, uses Poison Jab against an all-steel team. Very big misplay. It turns out Poisons cannot hit steel types at all. That's a little unfortunate. Might be a little bit of a mistake. Might cost him. Goes for the Toxic Spikes. Again, what is this play? I don't understand. Can't be Toxic. Can't be Poison. Can't be anything. I can't compute what's going on here. Is Will going to pull this off? Aegislash with the Iron Head might be the play here. It might kill Iron Head. Iron Head him, or you can use Shadow Ball. Use one of your ghost moves. Will, you've got it. Just click the move. You've got it. Don't stall like Ian did the previous match. Don't stall like Chris did. Click the moves that do damage. You have a chance. Goes for the stance change. Goes for the Iron Head. Hits the move. Oh my God, Clodsire doesn't have a ground move? He might... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I did not know that. And gets the Iron Head crit. And there's the match.
I didn't have any anything but poison moves on that guy, so
yeah, I
couldn't do anything.
Oh,
I feel so stupid for forgetting that guy has a fucking Storm Drain or whatever the water absorb. I can't believe I forgot about that.
He has water absorb. My biggest takeaway, too, is the Earthquake on Ferrothorn. If that was a Drain Punch, you might have recovered the HP of the guy.
I don't know. I wasn't sure if the Rocky Helmet damage hits first.
Yeah.
For then the recover, or else I would have done that.
Yo, these matches are getting a little hot. Getting a little spicy. Why don't you take the jacket off? The jacket's coming off. The commentator, it's getting a little hot under the collar here.
Next up is going to be Carl and Chris, a save data matchup if there ever was.
Flying is a type that I like, mainly because you can just put it on a lot of different Pokemon types or match it along with, and sometimes it makes it the best type of all time, or sometimes the worst. It's sort of like where you're flying in fire and you're not named Charizard, and you just get torn apart by Stealth Rocks and you have to have a spinner. Or you're like Skarmory and you can't hit the fucker because he's flying and steel. So that makes it really hard. It's a really strong defensive type. Same with Gliscor as well. They're really annoying to deal with. Notice he has steel and flying, and 2 steel flyings and a Gliscor. Makes it very, very hard to deal with because he can just dodge every your Earthquake as well. But it's just an extremely fast type usually, and they usually carry the fog, so Starns aren't as much of a problem. It's fallen so far from grace. Unfortunately, Psychic type used to be one of the best types in the game in Gen 1. Unfortunately, it only does it has other things to do, but mainly it's one thing that it focuses really well on is it just hits people neutral. It only is really good against fighting and poison, obviously, which isn't that important. It's important to hit, but not as diverse as you would like it to be. And it doesn't resist much either. So the big thing that Psychic does is hits you really hard with Psychic Stab, which is the same type attack bonus. If you use the same move, it gives you a 50% increase on your Pokemon, so you should always strive to do that on your Pokemon. And not many things resist Psychic, but the important ones, like Dark, is something that Chris has got to maneuver around. He also has Indeedee, which can set up Psychic terrain. I think this is the only terrain we're going to see. It's an interesting mechanic, which obviously warps the battle, besides just having weather effects. This one prevents priority moves and also boosts Psychic damage by, I believe, 50% as well, or at least some significant amount. So the big thing is, the takeaway from this is these types actually don't have anything like interactions. They're fun interactions here. So this is going to be straight battling here. Gets the Psychic terrain, as we brought up in with the introductory period. This is just a lot of damage and good old-fashioned battling. I don't know why Carl is laughing in fucking chat. Probably the name Saving Throw from Fresh Powder right here, 421, Blaze It. Indeedee gets the Psychic terrain, which I said is going to do a lot of damage to this team. I would say for important mons to consider on both these teams is Skarmory and Corviknight resist all of the Psychic moves that Chris is going to be doing in this battle, and Metagross is going to resist a lot of the damage that the other guys do. So Sheer Force Bravery does a lot of damage, but Indeedee is actually relatively quick if you spec into it or decently enough, and this Bravery is probably not spec that fast. Carl is debating whether or not to switch in, what to switch in. He's got 2 steel types, probably would be the best answer. I think he needs to bring in this special wall. I think Artillery might be a chance too. It could probably wall this thing off pretty well. If he gets rid of this Indeedee, it's going to be very dangerous for Chris. Chris needs to keep this alive as well. So if Carl switches out, Chris has got to consider switching something else in. Expanding Force is going to do a lot of damage. Chris has to switch and keep this thing alive. Got to come up with an answer very quickly here. This thing, Corviknight, is going to be extremely dangerous. As I brought up, Psychic type being, Steel type being resistant to Psychic type is extremely dangerous to Psychic. He needs to find a way to deal with Corviknight and Skarmory, and hopefully this is the answer. Close this tab. I'm not going to do that because we'd lose the battle, but we need to close this tab and make sure that we close out this battle with a nice Thunderbolt, hopefully, that this thing can learn. I'm not sure it's move pool because I'm not too up to snuff with the Gen 9 Pokemon, or just Gen 8, I believe. So this form, he's got a Poison type and a Psychic moves. Both his stabs, Skarmory, walls very effectively. So Chris needs to come up with another answer. It might have been a good pivot here. Iron Head, not going to do great damage, but Carl has no other choice. There's the Flamethrower. Instead of Thunderbolt, I was half right. Needed to come up with a move. That move is going to be pivotal in dealing with this match. It's incredibly dangerous for Carl to stay in now. He's got to go to Artilleria immediately because he needs to wall off this Flamethrower and deal with this guy. This might be Chris's only answer to his Steel Flying types. Goes to Gliscor. Not so sure about that. If this thing eats a burn, it's going to be dangerous. Eats the burn! Oh my god, no Toxic Stalling for Gliscor. Incredibly risky move and switch right there. Now he can't get the Toxic off, or the Toxic Stall with his Poison Orb. You got to be careful with these Gliscor switches on knockoffs and status moves right there. Incredibly dangerous. Now we basically have a Gliscor that is essentially worthless, besides unless it has like entry hazards or like defogging. That Earthquake is not going to kill anymore, and now the Psyshock is going to do decent damage right there. So if Carl doesn't kill this very quickly, he has... This thing is incredibly threatening to both his Skarmory and Corviknight here. Again, Metagross is still in the back pocket, can wall off all of the stabs from Carl's Pokemon. This is an incredibly decisive moment right here. We'll see if who blinks first, if he keeps the Slowking alive or keeps the Gliscor. The damage range, I believe Slowking can kill with the Psyshock here. Goes for the dual Wing Beat. The speed right there doesn't kill. Instead of using the Earthquake, I don't know why he went for the dual Wing Beat. Needs to kill this guy. Might have misclicked. Grimacing at his camera. That's not going to save you, though. You need to come up with a better strategy than looking at the camera all pretty like. All right, Carl, with his glasses, focusing on the next play, brings in Tropius, gets the leech seed. This thing has Flamethrower. He saw that already. Interesting choice. Eats the Citrus Berry. This thing might recover more Citrus Berries. Harvest, very bullshit ability. Not fun to play against at all. Has Bananas up the wazoo. And this moveset is Bananas. And just like this battle is Bananas. Goes for the Air Slash, kills it. This is crazy. Right now, he's got to go into Metagross. Probably one of the best ways to deal with this guy. I don't know if he has a move to deal with this guy. Might have to go to Meteor Mash. Probably his best answer. Hatrine may be also be able to wall this thing off. It's using special moves, but he doesn't want to get seeded. He needs to know that if he has Magic Bounce, he can't get seeded. Might be between Hatrine, Metagross. Goes with the Metagross. It's not Hawlucha. We know that. Hawlucha's in chat, enjoying himself, having a nice life, enjoying this commentary, hopefully enjoying the battle as well. Looking at these guys, he has to go with Meteor Mash. This is crazy. Goes to the Meteor Mash. I don't know what he's deciding. Goes with the Meteor Mash right now. Thunder Punch. That's also great when you're versing an all-flying team. Did not know he packed that. Great choice by Chris to put that on his team. Misses the Fire Spin tech. Oh my god. That's incredibly pivotal for Carl. I believe this is the rare Perish Trap Artilleria. Not Artilleria missing that Fire Spin. Might have cost Carl more than his allowance. Might have cost him the match. Gets the Fire Spin. Unfortunately, it's going to be in vain because this thing is going to die with Thunder Punch. Now, Carl has to come up with a way to deal with this Thunder Punching Metagross. This is incredibly dangerous to his team. He has to throw into Skarmory, or he has to Whirlwind with Skarmory or Corviknight. He cannot take a Thunder Punch on any of his guys. I believe he is going to be walled. He might be able to Leech Seed this thing. Bravery's just going to die immediately. I don't know if this is the correct choice. Might be just sacking this thing for apparently no reason at all. Doesn't like Eagles. I would suggest not moving to Philadelphia then. This is incredibly bad for Carl at this current moment. He's got to consider using Corviknight or Skarmory to wall this thing off. There's still physical walls. They can wall him off Metagross more than Bravery can. He's just going to sack this Bravery for no apparent reason. This is a very bold strategy right here. Goes to Tropius. That switch baited out a Thunder Punch. Wait, he was going to click Thunder Punch no matter what. I don't know what the tech is here. Thunder Punches twice. This thing eats 2 Thunder Punches, just like this thing is eating 2 berries right now, over and over again. Oh, wow, Harvest is really fun. You got to find a way to knock off that berry. He could probably still harvest it back. got to find a way to deal with this thing. Maybe he has Ice Beam on one of his guys. Psychic Surge might be the way to get in. You might have to find a way to get Indeedee in between some turns right here. I think Magic Bounce. I think Hatrine setting up with Calm Mind, if he has it packed on Hatrine, could Magic Bounce the Leech Seed. We talked about this before, that Magic Bounce is an extremely dangerous ability for Leech Seed. Gets the Psychic Surge up. Again, Protect! Reads the Protect! Chris, just like he read all of the manuals of saving throw to prepare us for our next D&D session. Great job by Chris on that read right there. Reads the Protect. Carl with the Harvest, Protect, Leech Seed strategy. Wow, he wants to bore everybody off the face of the planet. Thank God he didn't watch the other match, which took 85 fucking turns. Carl, that strategy is very bold and ambitious. I appreciate you a lot for running that strat. Leech Seed, Harvest, it's going to be great. Watch Saving Throw. I absolutely would recommend doing that. It's a great show. Going for maybe the Ice Punch here. Metacham has a lot of damage. I don't know if he packs the right punch. He is going to punch him in some way. Maybe he has a high jump kick. Flexing off his muscles. I don't know how that guy has muscles. Look at it. He's made of string. I could eat string cheese bigger than that dude. Gets the fake out. Does damage. Recovers it all with Leech Seed. Gets the Ice Punch. Wow, that's pivotal. So now Chris has Ice Punch. He has Thunder Punch. The dude is punching up a fucking storm. This is insane. Gotta stop these punches. Gotta throw in the birds that resist these punches. He's got Skarmory. He's got Corviknight waiting on the bench, waiting to be called out to block these physical walls. He has Drill Peck. Could probably run Drill Peck maybe, or maybe he has Brave Bird, maybe a flying move here that would deal with this Metacham. This Metacham's got to run away, probably going to run to Metagross. It's a very safe switch. He hasn't even shown off the Hatrine. He's got a Slowbro too, which Slowbro can have very bulky stats, can do some scalding, can do some meddling around, has a big tail, has something else that might be big, a big brain, obviously. Look, we got to take a break and look and reevaluate the situation here. He's got to go to Metagross. Goes to Slowbro with the big stuff. Spikes, actually not too bad. Could have been dangerous with Hatrine. If Chris was more confident, could have predicted the Hatrine. Didn't want to eat a Brave Bird. I can respect that. But now considers he might be trying to spike again, so he might throw in Hatrine, bounce those spikes back. It's not going to really matter, but at least you can kind of just rub it in Carl's face that you predicted one of his moves, because flying types, as you know, are immune to spikes. So unless this thing has Stealth Rocks, goes to Hatrine, does exactly what I thought, bounces the Toxic back to the Skarmory, which bounces back to the Hatrine, which bounces back in between fourth, and then that Toxic explodes into a black hole because nobody can get Toxic. It's crazy. It's out here. We're out here in the battle, seeing the Toxic bounce so vividly fast between two Pokemon that are immune to it. This is crazy. Chris has to go for the Calm Mind setup, but it's very dangerous. Has to have one specific move. Goes for Hawlucha. Probably should have threw this guy in earlier. Gets the Toxic. I don't know why he's clicking Toxic onto a Hatrine. I don't know what he's trying to think here. Carl, going for that move. Probably consider Whirlwind. Probably consider anything. Probably consider using Skarmory or potentially Corviknight much earlier. Gets the knockoff. Has the Rocky Helmet. Gets the Whirlwind in. Hatrine comes in. The spike damage is actually starting to mount up, but he can't throw spikes now. He needs to find a way. Maybe you consider Whirlwind it again. Chris has to have a special move on this guy that can deal with the Skarmory. He has to. Tries the Toxic again. Don't know what he's doing. Read that text before. Likes to read the same text over and over again. That's pretty crazy. I would suggest buying the same book and reading it over again. Gets the Calm Mind. Calm Minds twice. Maybe Calm... Are we going to see two Calm Minds? What is the move that Chris has on his Hatrine? If he has a way to deal with the Skarmory that's not a Psychic move, he can put a dent in this guy. Goes to Corviknight. Is he going to Calm Mind again? Goes for the Psyshock. Not going to do much damage. What is Hatrine going to do here? I don't know. Is it going to go for another attack? Is Corviknight going to go for the damage? Body Press, going to go. It basically looks like it healed the fucking Hatrine. Body Presses Hatrine. Don't we all wish we could do that one day? I don't know. Anyway, look. We go for the Drain and Kiss. It's crazy. These guys are using moves that aren't super effective against each other. It's almost like they don't read the text that's right there. Go, 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 go. Use Iron Head. That's the correct move right there. Goes for the flinch. Actually doesn't go for the flinch. I guess he was trying to go for it. Clicks a move that's super effective against Hatrine. Goes for the Iron Head again. Maybe gets the flinch. Watch Saving Throw. Nobody could save that throw from Carl by picking Body Press right there originally. I don't know why he clicked the non-steel move on a Fairy type. Very bold play right there. All right. We gotta watch. He's got a Bravery that he can still use. Wanted to sack it off earlier. Decided that his eating the guy who the Tropius with the Harvester was more of the correct sack. You cannot Whirlwind this thing away. If Carl Whirlwinds this thing, he's going to go into the Bravery and take damage. But Whirlwind is a negative priority move. So I don't know what Carl was thinking. This thing has Toxic, it has Spikes, and all of these moves are like Katrine is immune to. So I don't know what Carl's choice is. You cannot whirlwind that away. In comes the bravery. Not bravery comes in. That was not very brave of Carl to put his other guy in the line of fire. So this head train is absolutely running train right here. I don't know what moves this bravery has, but if it besides rock slide, it's got to have some kind of flying move. This actually could devastate the saving throw time after this. If he uses Brave Bird, it's going to do a massive amount of damage. Chris probably could switch to Metagross, wall this off, or he could switch to Slowbro right there. Goes for the Rock Slide. Interesting tech there. Probably could have considered using a flying move. Rock Slide gets walled by a couple of members of Chris's team. Don't know why he went for Rock Slide. Rock Slide can also miss. So just like I miss watching other players play rather than this match sometimes. Anyway, you got to consider that Rock Slide is not going to be super effective against Metagross here. Metagross walls this off unless it has some move to get around Metagross's bulky steel. Goes for the Crush Crawl. It's stab. I respect it. Unfortunately, it's not enough damage. Steel resists that normal type right there. Chris shaking his head at the camera saying, Carl, you done fucked up, man. What are you going to do? You going to whirlwind me again? It's crazy. Thunder Punch might be able to kill the Skarmory, but I believe this is pretty close on speed here. 130 to 1, depends what these guys spec in speed. I believe this Metacross probably is spec in somewhat of speed. Goes to the Slowbro, correct play, gets the Toxic Poison. Carl, grimacing in the camera, gets one victory at the end for, yes, saving throw right there. Yes, that Toxic hits, but to what avail? I don't think it's going to do much. Delaying the inevitable. Chris probably should just use an attack. It's coincidental that Chris also has taken the things that might have taken up the most amount of time, but gets the victory with the skull right there, and that was well played by the gentleman in the battle.
Wow. That was good.
Saving throw.
Yeah, fuck you.
It's out now on YouTube. You can close this tab and go watch it.
Don't close this tab. Great job, guys. Let's see the schedule right now. Currently 2 people with 2 wins on the board. That's both Chris and Carl. It looks like it's going to be me and Ian this time.
Oh, dude. This is it. Zach, yeah. He is using Dark. You were using... you were using Water.
Okay.
Dark is really good because it can get Prankster. Extremely good. And can outspeed in tiers that it normally wouldn't. Has a lot of important moves like Knockoff and Sucker Punch. Ian's going to be very threatening, and it's very offensive. Water. So... I rated this pre-draft that this is the best type for picking for a mono. Not necessarily because I think it's the entirely OP or anything. I just think there's so many Pokemon that are in water. It might be the most. I don't have my notes now ever since Gen 9 came out. Water has probably the most diversity in terms of what Pokemon you can have in there besides maybe normal, and it has probably the strongest water effect in Rain Dance. Because it doesn't really have that many negatives to other members of your team. It just does good things, and you can play around it. Zach is going for a classic Rain Dance team with Pelipper. So look to see him just do devastating things with 50% attack boost almost the entire round, as he doesn't really have a special attacker. Again, it's not necessarily game-breaking, but it is something to note that a physical wall could maybe potentially shut down his team. I think we're good to go here. Water Dark is another one. I think Dark can do a lot of tricksy things here. So look out for Water to run over with the Rain Dance. Gets the Rain Dance up immediately. That's what I would expect from any Rain team. I like the Muscata pick. Meowscarada is a very important team to verse this Water team. Ian needs to keep this thing alive. It's extremely dangerous that he goes against this thing that might have Hurricane. And it immediately, the counter to Zach's entire team goes down. How is he going to wall off the rest of these water boys from just swimming through this dark, mucky water right now that Ian is going to be serving up with his Dark-type Pokemon right here? This is going to be problematic. Ian needs an answer to this Pelipper immediately, but the Pelipper is probably going to switch out anyway. This is an extremely dangerous position to be in. I respect the pick to go into a Water-type Pokemon that also does a lot of damage and has Dark moves. I would expect Zach to potentially go into something to wall this off. He has the Toxapex, can easily wall this off until he threatens it with his own poison move, gets this thing to get out of the way, goes to the Pex, easy choice right there, great move. Sucker Punch does not work, and great predict by Zach to get that wall in to block it off. So Zach now with the Toxapex, even though he's burning Rain turns, can always just throw that Pelipper back in. This Toxapex is going to be very threatening for Ian. Ian has to come up with a way to deal with this thing. It's Toxapex is very tanky. It goes for the Baneful Bunker. Sucker Punch again. Unfortunately, the interaction makes it so neither of them burn any turns right there. So I don't know if Ian's Pokemon is choiced. I don't know. It was a choice to use Sucker Punch against the tanky Mon. Gets to the Greninja. Maybe goes for the Baneful Bunker. Nice predict by Ian to switch in Greninja here. I don't know if Greninja has a way to beat past Pex. I do not believe he has Earth Power. I do not believe he carries Psychic. I don't know how he's going to get through this thing. He does carry a Psychic move right there, proving me to be an ineffective commentator, but hopefully I will turn it around one day in my life. I was not expecting that carry by Ian. Very good move to have. Very good move. Thank God I didn't help him with any team comps because he outsmarted me significantly right there. Goes for that Psychic move right there. Gotta run away. Runs away. Switches into a Dark type to predict that. Great job. It's a great predict to get in there. Hopefully, the Sucker Punch might... Ian should know that this thing carries Sucker Punch. He's got to run away. Make sure that he does not eat any Sucker Punch or anything like that. If Zach knows that, though, he could just go for a really strong water move because this thing is no longer water, would also take devastating damage. If I'm Zach, I use a water move 100% of the time here because nothing on his team wants to eat a water move, even though this thing is going to take it. Goes for the Ceaseless Edge. It gets some spikes on the ground, which is really nice. Good utility as well. Unfortunately, a lot of Ian's guys are immune to that spikes. 2 of his guys fly up in the air or have levitate. Sacred Sword gonna crit right there. Zach not having the Sacred Sword himself or wanting to get the spikes up into some extra damage is crazy. Ian fist pumping towards the camera after killing his rival in terms of mimicking the same Pokemon with the correct Sacred Sword move right there. Again, the spikes are not as devastating as you would believe. His Greninja's already chunked out. He's got 2 levitating Pokemon. I don't know how dangerous their spikes going to be. He's got to find a way to deal with this thing. Might throw Pelipper back in to get the Rain going. With Rain, this water team can go very far. I don't know what else Zach is going to do. Again, he could throw in Pex, again, just wall this thing off with a Baneful Bunker. Who knows? There's a lot of options. The options are limitless. He's got to make a choice, though. Rain, block. He goes for the Azumarill right here. It is Fairy type. Resist the fighting potentially there, as well as the Dark type. Might go for the Belly Drum. Ian has to probably stay in an attack. Gotta respect that this Belly Drum is a potential threat right here. Probably should attack knowing that Belly Drum is a threat. Azumarill could pop off here if it is left unchecked. Ian's got to note that if he switches out to something, this Azumarill has Aqua Jet and Belly Drum is a lot of damage. This is incredibly dangerous. This is going to be a pivotal moment. If Ian makes the attack, this could be a very big thing. Because if he Belly Drums at really high, or lowish HP, he might be dead to an Aqua Jet now. So let's hope and see what these boys are going to do. They're deciding on their moves right here. Goes to the Sableye. This is going to be really scary. Goes for the Play Rough instead. Gets the Predict, or maybe it's all Dark, so it doesn't matter. Not really a Predict at all, because he's using Play Rough. Learn from the mistakes of his ancestors and clicks the exact move that is effective against the type you're reversing. Who would have guessed that would be the move to do? And this Fairy type is going to be very dangerous for Ian. He's got to find a way to beat this guy. I don't know if he has the way to beat it. He's got... unfortunately, a bunch of types. Again, all of his types are dark. We hear the thunderstorm. That is not the Rain Dance team. That is an actual storm coming from one of these gentlemen's things, trying to interrupt my commentary. I'm not going to let that happen. Goes for the Play Rough. Gets the attack drop down. Zach can just keep clicking Play Rough unless he misses Play Rough. This is going to be very, very rough for Ian Professor right there. Goes for the Aqua Jet. Finishes off the Mandibuzz. This is a life-orbed Azumarill. So if Ian is able to survive multiple hits from this thing, it could be very good. I believe Hydreigon might be faster than Azumarill, unless Azumarill uses Earthquake and uses Aqua Jet. Goes for the Play Rough, kills the Hydreigon. A lot of damage incoming there. Hydreigon, even though it's a dragon, can be killed in one shot if using the right move. Huge power from Azumarill. Cleans up. Zach wipes his hand just like he's wiping the floor with Ian right now. Got to go for the Aqua Jet here. Right now, goes get some damage off before he faints to the inevitable the Psychic move right there. It's pretty brutal, but unfortunately, Ian is in a back against the wall position. If he gets Pelipper going, I believe Zach just wins immediately because he has guys that have Swift Swim on his team. He still hasn't even shown the Swampert off, which is a lot of people's fan favorites, so that almost should be an automatic loss for Zach. Luckily, we don't count those moral victories as actual victories, so unfortunately, we have to watch this battle go through. Ice Beam on the Pelipper. U-turns out. U-turn is also really strong against Dark-type. Rocky Helmet on the Greninja, which is crazy. Zach was not expecting it. You could see it in his face. Barrascuda coming in. He's going to click the Barrascuda button with this Swift Swim. Super damaging waterfall, which even though this thing resists it because it's the same type, could go for any move and probably kill the Samurott. Again, Swift Swim. The Samurott still might go for Sucker Punch. Might be able to damage it. Might be able to crit and kill if the Sucker Punch hits. Oh, almost a crit. Almost kills it. Gets the close combat. Gets the damage done. Nice try by Ian on that Sucker Punch. Very close damage. But unfortunately, it falls.
Good match. Good match.
We got Chris and Jake up next. We got Jake's team. Okay.
Yep. Jake is using fighting again. Fire, just like its, real life counterpart, burns hot and sometimes burns too quick. It is, again, kind of like electric and ice, not to harp on it too much. Very offensive, very dangerous, can be commendably strong in the right hands, or a pitiful flame in the wrong ones. It can be snuffed very quickly. It takes a lot of stealth rock damage, does a lot of damage, but again, pivots for this thing. And what I mean by pivot is switching out and jumping from Pokemon to Pokemon that you can therefore get the correct type matchup. It doesn't really have many safe pivots with its typing. Incineroar helps with intimidates and such like that, but mostly speaking, this thing usually uses Sun to overcome a lot of its deficiencies in terms of damage and just hits really hard. But a lot of popular types can stuff this. Again, water and ground specifically. Fighting versus fire, as mentioned in the pre-show, that these are both, again, I not always say it, these are both very offensive types. Incineroar absolutely going to get melted by a fighting move. Gotta know that when you're versing a fighting type trainer, potentially a fighting move might be incoming here. Gotta be aware that your dark type gets potentially looking at. I believe Will is currently looking at a type chart, realizing his mistake. I believe the type chart is written on his wall in very like wall magnets that he has hung up on his wall, is what he told me. Unfortunately, it looks like it's high above his screen, so he's praying. It looks like he's like looking for like the heavens of what to do next. Goes to the Camera Up. Camera Up is potentially one of Will's only bulky Pokemon. He does have a Ghost type, needs to keep that Ghost type against this fighting team alive. Maybe to consider switching to the Ghost type, baiting out a high jump kick right here would be extra damage on this Blaziken. Might be the correct play. I don't know if this Camera Up can beat this. Low kick, it is very heavy. I like the choice. Goes through the Earthquake. Earthquake does ring true on that Blaziken, and now they're each down one Pokemon. Again, I cannot stress how important that Chandelure is in that back. You see him there, ready. This is going to be whack. This could be a fake out. Will has got to switch to that Chandelure. He cannot take a fake out. Goes to Scavillain. Interesting choice. Misses the high jump kick. Will almost knew that he was going to miss that. Yuck. That guy just got whacked by his own fucking high jump kick. That was craziness right there. These high jump kicks are incredibly, incredibly dangerous to go for. Goes for the bulk up. Interesting choice, because I believe Scovillain can be a special attacker, which he is in this case. Gets the Giga Drain down, gets some HP down, goes to the high jump kick. Incredibly damaging Pokemon. Gets killed by the Rocky Helmet, and we're now down 2-2. This is the battle of the century. Very close battle, but Chandelure is still incredibly dangerous. Smash Brothers against Turtle Club. These sound like online forums I do not want to be a part of. This is craziness on the battlefield right here. Smash Brothers, gotta be careful, because this thing, Turtle Club, can actually take a hit. Goes for the Bullet Punch. Interesting choice against the Fire team. Goes for the Fire Blast into a Steel Pokemon. The correct choice by Will to hit the correct type effective move right there. The Bullet Punch was a risky move. Halucha's best fan back in here. Hopefully he doesn't let you down. Hopefully picks the right move. I don't know if he should go for a fighting type move. I don't know if he should go for acrobatics. If he has body press, might be considering that. Goes for the Swords Dance. This could get very spooky. Maybe this Rotom has Will-O-Wisp. I don't know if it can live a boosted up Halucha's best fan. He is definitely feeling himself. Goes for the acrobatics right here. Gets the Volt Switch. The electric move into the flying type right there. Now he gets the switch too. This is going to be craziness. We still have the Ghost type, which is incredibly... Finally goes out to the Chandelure. Blocks off all of the moves that Jake could throw out here. Now, it should be noted that this Primeape, I believe, still can... I don't know if Rage Fist is banned. Might still carry Earthquake. Gotta consider that this could still be dangerous. Goes for the close combat. Unfortunately, it does not hit a Ghost type. Goes for the Calm Mind. This is incredibly dangerous. Will also has the balloons, loves the balloon. I'm told that he loves to go to circuses and get balloon animals from the clowns because he puts balloons on all of his Pokemon. This is insane. Goes for the Fire Blast with the Calm Mind. He's got hands, but can he eat this fucking Fire Blast? He does relatively well by living with 5% relatively because Chandelure hurts a lot. I'm surprised anything lived a +1 boost from a Chandelure, but Machamp actually has some meat on the bones there. Besides, he's got hands. Hits 2 Fire Blasts in a row. Couldn't be me. I'm surprised he didn't miss one. Should have probably went for the more accurate move. Goes for the risky move for some ungodly reason. Still hits it. Goes for the Vacuum Wave. Does not, unfortunately, hit him. Smacked down into the ground by this Chandelure. And that's the battle right there. That's the battle. That Ghost type.
Yeah, I knew the minute that swap happened, my only Pokemon left only had fighting type moves.
Oh, no.
So I lost it. 2 Pokemon before I actually lost it.
It only just occurred to me that fighting can't hit Ghost.
Whoa!
That's incredible.
So, all right, I've got the type. Sorry.
Yeah, I just sent Jake the challenge.
Grass is as immune to a lot of powder moves, which is really good. Leech Seed is a very great tactic. Leech Seed is a way to haze people without using like the move Haze or Whirlwind or Roar, because people don't want to stay in and get their HP sapped and then like protected or blocked or something like that. Hazing is very important in competitive battling because if they start using Swords Dance, Dragon Dance, Nasty Plot, you need a way to get rid of that Pokemon and encourage them to move out without being able to kill them, because sometimes killing them might not be an option. So using like Haze or something with neutralizing gas is very important, and Grass can do that with Leech Seed. Grass is actually pretty underrated. I just think it's usually pretty slow because usually the guys are made of plants, but he has a couple fast guys in there with Sceptile and Breloom with like priority moves. So, all right. So Grass versus Ghost normally would be a very interesting match. However, Skeledirge tries to threaten that to be a bad match. We saw this same old song and dance. Gets the Spore off. Very good to get rid of this threatening Torch Song immediately. So now with this Torch Song, he has to find a way to get rid of the Skeledirge. I would not use a fighting move or a grass move, which I believe this thing might be adherent to. Uses Toxic on a guy who's asleep already. That's unfortunate. Gotta find an answer very quickly, because if this thing starts waking up and using Torch Song, it's gonna be very dangerous. He's got a tree. Well, guess what beats a tree? A fucking torch. I've seen it here before, folks. We've seen this thing die on stream already once. He gets the fly out of the way. Hopefully this fly does a lot of damage, but Skeledirge is really, really bulky, which makes it so threatening and very hard to get rid of. Surprisingly, JakeTheRalt.com losing to a thing might be named after his own brand name right there. I don't know how that makes him feel.
Hey, hi, it's your friend Yaniba Herrera here. We're gonna plug Jake's website right now. Go fucking support him, because Jake's cool as shit and has done a lot of cool shit as well. I highly recommend The Hollow Sun, because I've read it and it's really fucking cool. He has written a lot of other cool shit too. Go support Jake, or I will find you when you sleep and cut this out.
And now 2-time special attack to this alligator. Gonna try to go for the Spore again. Does Chris switch out? No, he considers the two-time special attack to be too valuable. Realizes this is his massive counter. Jake gets the sleep off, goes to the Grass Knot. Good predict from Chris. Wow, Chris managing this team like he manages all of our egos on saving throw. Craziness that he's doing this. Bitter Blade into the fruit of the dude symbol. Great work right there. Gets the Bitter Blade right off. And again, Chris has 2 fire types against Jake's very, very grassy boys right here. Needs to comes up with an answer to deal with this slow ship to oblivion, or else we're going to be very slowly sailing into these grass type scenes, being burned alive. Goes for the, I believe, Sword Stance. I do not know why Chris keeps going for these Sword Stances. Very, very greedy, just like Mr. Cash or whatever his fucking name is on saving throw. Watch it. James Lover gets annihilated by the Bitter Blade right there. And now, unless we have paralysis hacks, I don't know how Jake is going to deal with 2 fire types. One that is asleep and one is paralyzed. He's got to come up with an answer quickly. We still have the rest of this Ghost team that we actually haven't seen Gengar being used at all. I believe we didn't even see the Glaceon. Chris, reacting to the camera, says, okay, now I just got to click Bitter Blade again. Very tough choice for me. Goes for it. One-shots this. Leaf Storm, not going to be enough damage to a fire type. We need to see an answer to these fire types that's not a grass move or a stun move or a sleep powder. I need to see an actual damage move. Grass Whistle is not going to work. That is going to put him to sleep. Unfortunately, the little rascals are being put to sleep right there by that Bitter Blade. God damn it, Alfalfa. Oh my god, Gumdrop Buttons. Woo fucking lost. The Gumdrop Buttons. Oh my god, they're going to be melted away by this Bitter Blade. Somehow switches out. I don't know why. The Solar Blade toxics himself, which is a very interesting choice. Who dropped the Gumdrop Buttons and dropped the Poison Toxic Orb onto himself with the substitute? These are crazy plays right here. I am being mind swamped by these strategies right now. A substitute. This is some bold plays right here. I don't know what Hollow Sun's going to do against it. Puts the Ice type in, eats that Leaf Storm not too well, but lowers this thing's special attack. All he has to do is howl at the stars and let this thing kill itself. Chris is kind of rubbing it in, showing off the team names. It's the proverbial pumpkin's going to strike midnight eventually here, and that midnight damage is not going to be much damage. Yeah, the damage on midnight's not going to be that much. Bullet Seed going to actually crack the ability by the Mimikyu. Actually, good tech by Jake right there. Let's see if Jake can come up with another play. He's got to use Bullet Seed because his special attack is so low. He's got to do something right here. I think Bullet Seed is the play. Buy Jake's books. I agree. Buy his books, but don't buy his battling strategies right now. Gumdrop Buttons being melted off into oblivion by these ghosts, and that's the game right there. We saw some fire-type Pokemon that just destroyed Jake's grass teams. Those fire-type guys were extremely dangerous.
Yeah, it was a rough matchup. Not gonna lie.
Jake was super fun. I have an incredible group of teams.
In the Pokemon nickname.
Thanks, dog. You like that?
Yep.
And Chad, if you like those, you can go to jaketerrio.com and find out all about those books and other projects.
Hopping back to the schedule stream. Next up, it's going to be Will versus Ian. Subpixel match-off. Match-off? Contest?
Rock is... Okay, to put it bluntly, I have to say this out loud because I was told to by my producers. I rated Rock the worst type in this tournament format, at least. I don't know if it's necessarily the worst type, but Rock might be the worst because it's just basically Steel, but just feels like worse. It's not even immune to Stealth Rocks. Most of the Pokemon are very slow, besides Aerodactyl. Sturdy really helps them, obviously, and Stealth Rock or Sandstorm or Sandstream from Tyranitar into Sandstorm helps with its special defense deficiencies, but for the most part, this thing just really hits hard, but the problem is they're really slow. They're really slow and they're more defense-focused and physical-focused rather than special-focused. So special attacks can almost just kind of wreck these guys, and fighting and ground are very common. So Will's got to overcome the odds with this team, and hopefully he does, because I think it's a very tricky team to build. Okay, Rock, as I mentioned before, pretty rough type. This Catsy boy, this little magician guy, can run train on this Rock team. We've got to be careful. I like the Machu Picchu name. Unfortunately, that grass move is going to defame its fucking nice little structure right there with that crit right there. I believe Flower Trick is an automatic crit, though, so it's not too surprising to see. He's got to run away. Something's got to eat this grass move. Another crit from the Flower Trick. That's a fun ability to be crit by every move. This is incredibly dangerous. Will has to come up with something that can eat this grass move. He's got an Aerodactyl, might be his best chance. Really fast Pokemon, can use a flying move against Ian before he can react. Gotta use the Aerodactyl to threaten Ian out with a Rock flying immediately, or he's gonna get Flower Tricked into oblivion. I don't even know what Flower Trick even does. Does he like hold flowers and then punch you in the fucking face? That's a trick? That's not my kind of trick. I don't know what that actual move does. I don't know what the actual like move is, but I just picture that guy just like, hey, I should have bought you flowers, and then just punch you in the fucking dick. Like, I don't know what that move is. Who knows? Gets tricked. I don't know if this is the correct choice. This guy's going to die in one hit to a Flower Trick if he stays in. Ian probably thinking to himself, wow, what is this type advantage? Should I be worried? No, I'm just going to click the button. Learning in real time. I'm so proud of these battlers by clicking their stab moves. Ian, fist pumping, acting like that would not have hit him. I'm not sure what he's reacting to. Like, he was afraid that the Dreadnought was not going to die to a 4 times effective grass move. Surprising himself with that pick. Has clicked the same button over again. And is he going to win by clicking one button? The chance is actually real unless he throws in Aerodactyl. I believe Aerodactyl. No, not now. You got to wait on a switch. No. The Flower Trick takes that damage. The Aerodactyl being chunked. He should have waited. I was a very disgusting amount of damage he just took. Needed to switch that in on a free switch from a death. Needed to sack his guys. Now he takes the one counter he has. Goes for the Hurricane. Does not miss the 70% Hurricane. We've got ourselves a kill from Will's side. Thank God. If that Hurricane missed, all Ian would have needed to done is click Flower Trick. I can't let this guy click one move and win the match. Please. I can't have that happen after he didn't do that the entire of the battle. Now all he has to do is click his water move. So it's the same fucking thing. He just clicks water, like his water hydro pump. Water pulse. I don't know what he has. Knowing Ian, he could not have a water move, is what he said the last time. Has Ice Beam. Doesn't even click the water move. Still hits him. Gets the crit again. It's crazy. He's crit almost every attack he's thrown out. Now he's Protean. So Ice is actually weak to these rocks. So if he actually does get an attack, unfortunately, I believe he is faster. He does have to Surf. Craziness right there. The Surf does a lot of damage to these boys that are left. Surf, now he doesn't have Stab. I do not believe Tyranitar dies to this Surf. Probably should have considered throwing Tyranitar out earlier, because in the Sandstorm, you have boosted special defense if you are a rock type, so you can resist this Surf right here. Goes for the U-turn, gets the crit again. What the fuck is this crit RNG? Has crit every single attack. It is not stopping, and they don't stop coming. Goes for the Dragon Claw. Unfortunately, not going to do much damage. Probably should have considered using a Rock Stab right there. Would have did more damage. Stab boost. Got to remember it. It's massive amounts of damage, Will. Got to remember. I seen you in Poke Will. You and Ian on the same stream talking about Stab. You got that question right on Save Data's Jeopardy, but unfortunately, it's not helping you here. Eats the Sacred Storm. Finally, not a crit from Ian. I don't know who he paid for this match, for this to happen, but he paid the advertiser of this match. Eats the Sacred Sword, eats the Chople Berry before he dies, but unfortunately a lifeless berry pops out of its mouth because that was not enough to save him. Ian, fist pumping, acting like a Sacred Sword might not have killed that rock type. Craziness right there.
Fuck yes. Just enough coverage to be able to swap around as needed and keep hitting you hard.
Oh, you had enough coverage? You had enough coverage, but I saw the Flower Trick 8 times the...
Yeah. Oh, no way!
What?
I renamed all my Pokemon Cum, and it's not letting me do that. 1 second.
So, Dragon versus Bug, there's a huge base stat discrepancy here, but that doesn't mean Bug can't... Bug has a lot of interesting tools. I would say that he needs to keep Scissor alive. I think Scissor is going to be incredibly important here. It's one of the few things that can wall off any of these Dragon moves. So you gotta be... We gotta be ready to keep those boys alive. Zach has a lot of entry hazard things. He also has a fairy type too. So Ribombee is incredibly important. If they start outraging, Carl has got to be careful that he doesn't click outrage. He can lose a couple turns to that fucking Ribombee switching in and out and dodging these outrage. So Ribombee and Ribombee versus Scissor is going to be incredibly impactful in determining of this matchup, like who could win or who could not. The unfortunate thing is, Poomin, as this guy is referred to, shoots very important, has very good special moves. He has Flamethrower in his move pool. Goes for the special attack, goes for the Moonblast to dodge that very good move. Gets the Poison type in to resist the Fairy type. Gotta watch out, because if he eats a Poison type move from this Pokemon, could be devastating. And if Zach loses the Ribombee, it could be very scary. I think he should have used the Poison type move there. Would have been more damaging to this Ribombee. Now he has to Ribombee. Now he has to dodge the Sticky Web, which could slow down his Pokemon. Sticky Web is incredibly impactful. I do not believe Carl has any way to get rid of that Sticky Web. So all of his Pokemon besides Hydreigon are going to be slowed down, which might be the difference in winning or losing. Gets the Stun Spore off too. Gets the Paralysis. This is crazy that this Pokemon is doing so much damage. Again, now what Zach could do is switch somebody in to set up on this thing, get the paralysis procs, and has a special attack increase. Goes for the Volcarona, has decent special defense bulk, goes for the Outrage, might have to run away now. That's incredibly terrifying. Can go back to Ribombee to eat the Outrage. Doesn't want to start setting up. Even if it has a chance of getting hit at paralysis, losing this thing could be very devastating. So he's going to have to go back to the Ribombee, get a free turn. Again, pivoting around that scarf-wearing Bug Boy is going to be incredibly valuable for Zach. I'm going to keep saying that name wrong because I hate that Pokemon's name, Ribombee, over and over again. So we'll see. I do not think setting up on Volcarona would be the idea. I think Zach cannot kill this thing. Goes to Scizor to eat the Outrage, gets the paralysis. Really lucky from Zach. Gets the confusion from the Outrage as well. This Dragalge is feeling a lot of pain from the hacks right here. Gotta potentially switch it out. Scizor with Technician is still going to do a lot of damage to any of these guys. They don't really resist it besides Goodra. Goodra might be the play for Carl right here. I would consider switching that in. Doesn't want to eat an Iron Head. This Scizors are typically banded, so whatever it switches into, we'll have to eat this. Good on the Bullet Punch. Unfortunately, that Technician Scizor hurts so fucking much. Might be a little overtuned. That's the only thing that bug teams have to deal with some significant threats. That Bullet Punch does so much damage. It's going to kill Kumin 2, not Kumin 1. Unfortunately, the Rocky Helmet, although it chunks him, is not going to be enough to stop Scizor's Rampage. This thing is going to hurt. Technician, Band, Stab, Bullet Punch. Hurts. All of those words combined equal a dead Comiar right there. So the only problem is now he's got Garchomp. Garchomp gets slowed down. Doesn't want to eat the Rough Skin. Zach's probably going to consider switching out. What does he switch out then? This is going to be a pivotal moment in the match. If he's like, okay, he can go for Earthquake. He's got to dodge that. He has to dodge the Earthquake. He's got to dodge. If this thing has Rock Slide, there is nothing to stop this thing from doing Rock Slide. Garchomp with the Outrage would be a bad move. I think Earthquake still doesn't kill the Scizor. It's incredibly bulky. Goes for that. Eats the Rough Skin. Earthquake might be the play. Gets the Scizor down to 1 HP. That's insane. And then dies to the... he's going to die to the Rough Skin. Carl looking to see how his outs are. I think he stays in. Sacks this. Keeps going for the Earthquake. That's the play. Getting rid of the Scizor means that all of your Outrages are going to do a lot of damage. Zach getting extremely lucky on that. Might be able to potentially kill this Garchomp if he gets the crit. Also with Die here, might be a range to kill the Garchomp. Bullet Punch might be able to do more damage. Somehow switches out. Not a bad switch. Goes to Ribombee. Fearing an Outrage. I don't know if that's the correct play. Could have easily taken an Earthquake. I don't think it would have killed him because he does have that Bug type. Going for Earthquake against bugs is extremely dangerous. So this Pokemon is incredibly valuable to have. I think we're getting the camo delay reactions here very slow in their cameras in comparison to the match because I'm seeing their facial reactions not match up with what's going on screen. These two can't really do anything to each other unless Carl uses a poison move. Please use a poison move, Carl. And gets paralyzed. That's really unlucky, friend. Has the Block Sludge, gets the special attack drop, has the speed drop, is paralysis. This thing is having the worst day of its life. It's basically like trying to get through the healthcare system in America. It's tragically bad. Cannot get any help from anybody. It's a slow and painful process. It gets the Gunk Shot off. Unfortunately, Zach has to switch. Gets poisoned. 20%, I believe, to get poisoned from that Gunk Shot. Incredible good poison right there. If we get the rocks up from Cleaver, it's going to do a massive amount of damage. This is a very close match. Anybody can still win. Sticky Web is going to be massive amounts of massive threats to this team. So we got to see how much damage that Sticky Web does. I believe Stone Edge is coming in here. It does a lot of damage to this thing. Once they get the rocks up, goes for the Garchomp, gets slowed down. Gonna resist that. Gets the Psycho Cut instead. That was a psychotic play. Gets the Predict. Still eats that Rough Skin. Gets the Psychotic. Gets the Psycho Cut again, eats the poison, eats the Rough Skin. Pretty brutal. This thing is eventually going to go down. Haxorus gets slowed down by the speed. I don't know if he's faster than Cleaver. Might start outraging. I would not click outrage as long as Ribombee lives. I would never click a dragon move unless you are sure that fairy is dead. 100%. Being immune to moves is incredibly valuable, like I brought up in the topic of the day. So you cannot click that dragon button. Carl, do not do it. I would click Earthquake right here. It still hits everything pretty well, even though they're all bugs. Actually, don't click Earthquake. If you have a rock move, use it. Use a rock move. clicks Earthquake, listens to my instructions, still gets the kill. I was right all along. What do you fucking know? Zach brings in a Fire-type Pokemon. I got lucky. I got bailed out by the call. Use a Rock-type move instead if you haven't. Oh my god, that was a bad move, but I still got it right. He uses Earthquake, predicted what he was going to do. Maybe I'm just a god and predict what he was going to do instead of the correct move. I don't know what I'm commentating on. Now, hopefully, we have a rock move. Still wouldn't use the Outrage. If you have a rock move, I would use it. We're going to let this kind of breathe a little bit more. This thing has an ice move. It's incredibly dangerous. This could be a speed contest right here. We don't know. With the 251 speed versus Haxorus's now nerf speed from the web, it is very dangerous for Carl to stay in. Might have to go to Goodra. I think that would be the play. It's safer to make sure that you don't get hit. Goodra does not mean being slowed. Carl thinking a long time for this, even though Goodra would 100% be the correct play. He brings in Kumin, eats the Ice Beam, dies in one hit. Interesting maneuver right there. Could have probably brought in Goodra. Zach saying, get the hell out of here, you fairy tale dragon boy. I've got a bug type, and I have Ice Beam. And guess what? You're going to feel the pain of that Ice Beam very quickly. Carl's got to find a way to deal with this ice type. It's almost like using the steel type would be the correct call. I'm pretty sure he finally brings in Goodra. Probably should have brought that in first. Goodra dripping slime, just like the namesake. Unfortunately, this is the one Pokemon not named Kumin. Don't know if that's a problem. Unfortunately, it's the one Pokemon that's like drizzling shit all over its face, and ironically, doesn't have the gross name. Wow, Carl, you really named him brilliantly right there. Probably should use a steel move. Zach, being aware of that, knows probably should switch out to something that can eat that. I think Arachnid is probably his best play. This is crazy right here. Goes to Arachnid. I like the prediction. Heavy Slam. Even though he's heavier than all these bugs, unfortunately, Arachnid's still a really big bug. If you look at its size on the map, it's incredibly dangerous how big this thing is. It's terrifying if you saw this IRL. It's got a bubble for a fucking head. I would not want to run into this thing in the showers. Dear God, terrifying. Heavy Slam, unfortunately, does not do much damage because of that. Maybe we should use Toxic. But I don't know what Goodra's packing right here. So, Goodra, probably his last hope. Haxorus, unfortunately, gets the speed drop. Iron Defense is going to be really bad. Unless Carl gets a crit on this whatever dragon move is, it's going to be brutal. I don't know what his other moves are. Earthquake, I assume he has Outrage. I don't know what he probably has Dragon Dance and then something else. Unfortunately, like I said, unless he's packing specifically like a rock move or rock slide or something like that, Earthquake is going to do very little damage. Earthquake against bugs. Notorious bugs living in the earth can counter these earthquakes. Zach laughing to himself because he uses 3 times defense, stalling out Carl. Poor Carl can't do anything. Clicks Outrage. Now Zach, all he has to do is go in for the Ribombee and let this infestation curse this guy into oblivion. Eats that. Could have gotten crit. The cockiness right there from Zach. Could have gotten crit, could have gotten killed, could have been a problem, but stays in despite the crit, even though he has something that is immune to this. He has a guy who resists that. He can't click a different button. Probably would have been a better play, but I'm picking apart a guy's strategy who is winning, so maybe I'm a bad commentator. Got to consider the options here. Poison Jab, probably should have went for that first. Gets the sleep. Unfortunately, Arachnid with the rest is able to stall out any poison turns anyway. I do not think Carl has an answer to killing this thing anymore. Losing that Hydreigon might be the match, and I think Carl's going to have a slow defeat here. I believe he cannot damage this thing. He's got a paralysis on his poison-type Pokemon. A Goodra that has Heavy Slam. I do not believe Goodra, even with like a Toxic, now can beat it because it has Rest. I think Carl's going to have a slow defeat here, and Carl's thinking to himself, what outs are there? It's taking a really long time because there are no outs. There is no hope. These dragons are getting beat by bugs. It's the most disgusting thing in the world. I cannot believe I'm saying this. These bugs, the last place pick in the draft, might come up with a hype win right here. I think it's a foregone conclusion. Gets the infestation. There is nothing that Carl's team can do. Carl scratching his chin, scratching. What could he have done differently? Maybe not send a Hydreigon in to get killed in one shot by an Ice Beam into an Ice Pokemon. Might be your first choice. I don't know. Zach said, bring it to me, baby. I've got a bug type. What are you going to do? I don't know. There is no hope. It's Jover now. Just like Biden's running, he has to drop out of this match. He has no chance at winning. Got to get out of here. It's crazy. It's all Jover for him. It's all Jover. We're just watching these two titans battle it out. A snail versus a spider. Wow, I'm enthralled. I'm enthused. I am so happy that this match is going to go on. You could forfeit. I should have said that these guys can't forfeit if they have no way to win. Rest! Why would you rest? Well, I guess it's his only option for winning. It's gonna stall even more. Please. Why? Why do all of these guys have rest? Carl is stalling. He has 0 chance to win. It's not cooking good for us. My voice, not the rest again. Please, just don't stall. You can't win. Oh no. My voice, okay. I'm gonna get some water. Brings in Scissor. He's asleep. Thank you for bringing in a Pokemon that can kill this guy. Close combat. Thank you. Okay. Thank God. Somebody switched and killed somebody in between rest turns. It is like something that could actually happen. Okay. Dragalge. Dragalge comes in. It's not going to be able to do anything. This is a steel type versus a poison. This is not great. This is a seahorse. This is a seahorse. You could be killing a father, Zach. Would you do that to a father? Yes, you could. Oh my God, he's paralysis. Carl going to be singing, if I didn't get paralyzed 15 times, I would have won. I don't think that would have mattered, but it might be something that comes up in the chat after Zach, snapping his fingers, flexing with his non-existent muscles right there, looking for the kill, looking for the victory, going for the win, gets it, and that's the game.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. No, I was super scared for a little bit there, though, Carl.
Sure.
No, I mean, listen, I had the Araquanid set up on you, but apart from that, before that, I was terrified.
I mean, I was hoping you wouldn't go bug and you'd kind of try to outsmart me, so I went dragon and, bug, and I was like, fuck.
It was the thing where I was like, bug is the one team that if it doesn't leave me completely fucked against all your types, and
yep.
Yeah.
Okay, as I mentioned in the previous, prep for battle, Steel Electric is pretty bad at being a defensive type. Ironically, this is the one type it resists besides itself, so Carl actually can use some defensive strats here. I will say that Will is correct in bringing out this Excadrill. This is incredibly dangerous for Carl. Carl needs to maneuver around this Excadrill. If you're going to focus on any member of Will's team, you got to focus on this Excadrill. I think it's incredibly important that Carl throws out the Volt Switch is not going to work on a ground type. Loses this Electric for no reason. Probably should have set up the Reflect or guessed that an Earthquake was coming. Maybe switch to the Rotom. Now goes for the Rotom. Sees that this guy's Balloon. Probably going to go for a Scald or some kind of water just to pop that Balloon and maybe to get some damage on this guy. Will, I don't know if he knows Rotom has Levitate. Might click the Levitate button. Sees the water. Sees the Electric. Probably thinks that, hey, I can probably hit this guy. I don't know if he knows about Levitate. Please click over the Levitating. It is a flying washing machine. It is tricky to see that. I'm really hoping Will hits that because he goes for the Earthquake. He drilled me daddy straight into the washing machine. Goes for the Nightshade. Pops the Balloon. I like that. Will, now seeing that he has Levitate, goes, ah, shit. I should have fucking switched. Now sees, what can I switch in to counter this guy, to counter this washing machine? Well, I would probably say he probably should go into Ferrothorn. Goes for the Rapid Spin. Gets the speed increase. Gets the Will-O-Wisp. And now the one counter to Carl's team. The biggest threat, the Drill Me Daddy, which could have drilled all of his electric types into oblivion, causing a power outage, unfortunately, is not going to be that much of a threat anymore. Switches out now, goes to Ferrothorn. Unfortunately, it's a turn too late. Carl, using Volt Switch, predicting a switch? I don't know. He was using Excadrill, so that would have really scary. I guess he realized the Excadrill couldn't have done anything. Goes to Magnezone. If Magnezone actually unironically has Magnet Pool, he could actually kill this Ferrothorn with a Hidden Power Fire. I do not believe Carl came up with that, not because this is a rare strategy. Goes for the Hidden Power Ice. Unfortunately, it's not the Hidden Power Fire. I have seen that Magnezone can trap Steel types. Unfortunately, gets seeded. Carl's going to have to switch out. He doesn't want to take seed damage. Gonna come up with something that beats this Ferrothorn. His one special attacker gets walled off by this. Goes to the Corviknight. Interesting choice, switching a flying type Pokemon into an electric battle this quickly. I think that might be pretty crazy. Goes for the Body Press, though. Unfortunately, Magnezone is made of steel, pretty heavy, does not take that much damage, gets a Thunderbolt. Maybe potentially the wrong call there, but Will doesn't have much answers to this team anymore, not as Excadrill is dead. This Aegislash might have been his best call with Sacred Stone, or Sacred Sword, not Sacred Stone. That is a Fire Emblem game that I enjoy. Goes for the Earthquake. Even through the burn, 4 times effectiveness is still really strong. Joey Daddy is going to have to try maybe getting some crits to deal with these guys. Goes to Rotom Wash. Can't deal with it. Got to go to something else. Maybe go back to that Ferrothorn. Get the Leech Seed off. Maybe the Power Whip is the play. So, Excadrill being burned, like I said, is very, very impactful on this match. That was a key burn, key play by Carl. Very good to recognize the threat right there and assess how you're going to best deal with it. Goes to Ferrothorn. Defogs for no reason, almost a showboat a little bit. Kind of one of those moves that there was no stones, there was no rocks. Gets the Will-O-Wisp on this Ferrothorn. Now, this thing also can't do much damage. The only thing that this good is doing is setting entry houses, walling, and using Leech Seed. Luckily, that's all it needs to do. Carl switches out, realizes how broken U-Turn and Volt Switch are. Probably those moves might need to be gutted down in terms of damage. They are way too overtuned, but that's a different talking point. Who knows? They shouldn't do that much damage and still have that much utility. It's bullshit. Game Freak, you know that. Anyway, Ice Punch. Gonna hit this ground type right here. Carl should consider using a fighting type move. Maybe scared that he might get walled off by Aegislash. The Earthquake into the predict. Carl with the solid read. Scratches his chin. Not even reacting that much. Almost like it's another day at the office. Finally shows off a smile that we've all been wanting from a predict right there. Great predict on the Earthquake. Carl reading, using this electric team to its fullest with that levitating Rotom Wash. Carl really pulling out all the stops, showing that practice has put in a lot of work, realizing how vital that this Rotom Wash is against EQ, a very impactful move. Getting that Volt Switch off again. Could use Nightshade to do more damage. Carl's in a great place, can play this slow. Got to find a way to deal with this Ferrothorn in terms of damage, but he's nullified in terms of it doing damage back to him. If that was not burned, that might have killed. So Carl in a great position, still has to maneuver around Ferrothorn. As soon as he gets rid of Ferrothorn, can do a lot of damage. This is a very risky switch, but he has the balloon, pops the balloon. Great job by Carl. Now he can kill this thing with its own Earthquake. There is nobody who wants to switch in. He has nobody on his team who can eat Earthquakes. There is zero reason not to click Earthquake on everybody for Carl. He has done it. He has cracked the steel wall, switches to a Lantern, maybe predicting the electric move, trying to get the heal with the Volt Absorb. Actually, great predict by Carl. Unfortunately, he goes for the steel move. He can wall that off really well because he's electric water, which is 4 times resistant to that. Goes for the Scald, already burned, can't get that. Thorny Boy, unfortunately, he's not a damagey boy anymore. Can't really deal with this Lantern. It's incredibly bulky. Even though he might go for the the Power Whip, it'd probably only do 1/3 damage. Goes for the Thunder Wave. Can't be, we talked about this. Can't be double status. Carl, when in our training, thought you could. That's how far he's come. I'm so proud of him. Unfortunately, we have to see a switch out to potentially Draco Volt to crack this guy, or a Retriviri with the, I do not believe he has Drain Punch, or he carries Cross Chop, but I don't know if he has it right now. Draco Volt comes in. I keep calling it Draco Volt. Draco Volt comes in, goes for the Fire Fang. I appreciate that move. Again, with Hustle, it is a very dangerous move to have Fire Fang on there. Because, again, it's already not a 100% accurate move. Now has to switch out, goes to the Rotom Wash. Again, Carl with the great predicts, using this Rotom Wash like he was born out of a washing machine. The man is insane with this Rotom Wash switches. Carl, very satisfied, gives a thumbs up towards the camera. Very, very good predictions. Very good at using this thing, using it to its fullest, using Volt Switches to get out of jams that would normally be very aggravating. Carl is playing this team exceptionally well. Exceptionally well. Probably should go to Electroviri right here, or Draco Volt. Again, go for that Fire Fang. Wants to get rid of this thing. Here we go. He's going to pick right here. Okay. We're waiting. We're contemplating. Goes to the Draco Volt. Again, we know this thing has Fire Fang. Will moves his glasses, says, oh no, shit, this thing has Fire Fang. He's got to go to his water. He's got to go to Empoleon. Great plays by both of these guys. Predicts the fucking Bolt Break. Oh my god, knew that he was going to the water. Saw it already. Carl gets the predict. My boy Carl, with the training paying off, gets the predict on that switch. Knew it was coming in. Finally. Misses the Bolt Break. Doesn't matter. Hidden Power Ice doing massive damage right there. Gotta switch out back to the Rotom Wash or the Lantern. You've already cracked one of cracked one of the walls you need to break. You need to get past that Aegis Slash now, who does a lot of damage. I do not believe. Goes for the Bolt Beak. Crazy amounts of damage. Letting his Draco Volt die was maybe a risky play. Goes for the Rotom Wash. I believe a water move. Like, does he have what water move is he carrying? He does not carry a water move. Nightshade would be enough damage to wipe this guy. It also does incredible damage to Ferrothorn. Goes for the Volt Switch instead. I don't know if that's the ideal move, but he switches out. So is gonna go to Electiviri now, I would assume. Which I don't know if he's got Earthquake. He could just click Earthquake. I assume he has that. Goes for Lantern instead. Interesting choice. The one Pokemon I think this thing, Stab Me Daddy, could actually stab and serve up on a dinner plate. Goes to Stance Form. Goes to the Sacred Sword. Does massive damage. Thunder Wave doesn't really matter to Stab Me Daddy. Only the 25% chance of paralysis might affect this thing. He can just still click his moves. At this rate, and he also has Shadow Sneak, so the crippling nature of being speed reduced isn't even that threatening. Goes for the Scald, probably should have clicked that instead of the Thunder Wave. Gets bailed out by a 25% chance, 25% chance paralysis. Now goes for this Ferrothorn switch to eat the Scald. Carl probably going to switch out because he doesn't want to eat the Power Whip here. Power Whip still, although burned, probably does a decent damage. Like I said, it did around half, I believe, on Lantern the first time. Probably will do like a third to a tankier guy like Rotom Wash. So Rotom Wash would probably be the safe switch. Probably could Nightshade. Probably should have did that in the first place. But we're trying to stall out this battle as long as we can and ruin my voice for centuries to come. So my children also won't have a voice in the future as well. They'll be silenced just like I am by watching this amazing gameplay. Wow, the Thunderbolt into the Power Whip lives. Just barely. It must have been a high roll on the previous Power Whip. Thank God he got the burn on this guy. Carl goes for the Scald again. Interesting plays. Gets the lead seated. This is coming down to the wire. I actually legitimately think both players have a legitimately fair chance at winning this match. It's actually closer than I would have expected. Carl's got to switch out of this lead seed now, but he doesn't want to eat a Power Whip. Can't eat the Power Whip on Electiviri. Carl made this predicament a little bit more closer than it needed to be. If he clicked Nightshade, I don't know if he knows that Nightshade does your damage based off your HP. I'm not sure. Tries to Toxic a guy that is a Steel type. Unfortunately, not going to happen. Maybe decided to sack that guy instead of taking the Electiviri. Needs to go in to the Rotom Wash. Nope. He goes for the other guy instead. Finally, he's going to take Iron Barbs if he attacks him. Goes for the Ice Punch. This is going to come down to the wire. Goes for the Stealth Rock. There's only 2 Pokemon left. Why didn't you back? Goes for the Aegis Slash. Uses Ice Punch. This is coming so close. This is coming. He could Shadow Sneak. Why are you switching out? I'm afraid it's a Shadow Sneak. Nice for the Shadow Sneak. Nice plays. Oh my God. Use Nightshade for the love of fucking Christ. They're all so low. Use this Nightshade. There we go. He could have did that 15 minutes ago. Goes for Theraphorn. Is he going to use the Nightshade again? It's the click win. Click the win button. Click it, buddy. You've got it. Thorny Boy doesn't like the night. He uses Volt Switch instead. He doesn't know what he uses. What am I doing? Oh my God. What? Stalling for content. Why are we doing this? There's rocks on the battlefield. This is insane. Use this Volt Switch on a gas fight.
That's what Pokemon is switching to! What?
He has Nightshade. He has Nightshade. Please.
Oh my God,
Nightshade.
Carl, please.
It does damage.
Please.
Click Nightshade.
Oh, fuck up, Carl.
Carl trying to throw this match.
Carl.
Carl,
please.
Why is he
Carl! What are you doing?
What? You could have missed the Willis. Why are you using Flash Cannon on a water type? Why?
Oh my
Nice,
God.
man.
I don't want to talk about anything. I want to die.
That was great. Thank you. Thank you both so much for that. Holy shit.
I'm gonna punch you.
I take it we did something wrong.
No, you did great well. You did great well.
Oh, okay.
You almost won.
I fucking hate Volt Switch, though.
Oh, Carl loves it, though. I tell you what.
Jesus, I just wanted to hit you with a grass move, for the love of God.
So you're saying the Will-O-Wisp was on purpose, then? Alright, Poison versus Normal. To talk about this real quickly, Normal, as said before, it's jack of all trades. I think Normal can like win against most types that aren't fighting or ghost. And I guess, ironically, could win against ghost. Debate me. I don't know if this muck is going to debate. He's confused, just like most of the people who would debate ever on an online forum don't realize that debating on an online forum is probably worthless because nobody's going to change their mind. Hits itself in confusion. Doesn't realize that he posted on the wrong Reddit. Oh my god. He's gotten fucking debated. Getting paralyzed. This explode popping off. Finally, the drain punch comes through. I think he was hiding it for personal effect. Ian gives himself a chuckle. He's like, all right, I could have just drain punched the entire time. It lives with barely enough HP, explode, to go in. So, debate me. Goes for the body slam. Gets knocked off. Dies in the 1v1. But he did a lot of damage to this muck. We saw how dangerous this muck was in the previous match where we saw the poison type team. We saw how dangerous it wasn't when it didn't get switched in. I will keep referencing that match back because it's content. Goes into the Kangaskhan. It is a tiny boy. There is also a big mama right behind it. So the tiny boy plus the big mama looking on this pile of trash gives the Shadow Claw. Unfortunately, that is not super effective against the dark type here. However, the paralysis slows down Muck from making it be a significant impact anyway. So that turn is kind of a wash right there. We will see what move choice comes out. If any of Jake's team has an Earthquake, I hope he does. This could be dangerous. The Body Slam stab is huge, though. Body Slam been a move that has been a great move since, in my opinion, since Gen 1, where Gen 1 it was completely overtuned. And now still showing it's rearing its head all the way to Gen 9, showing respects on how good that move is. Goes for the Shadow Claw, even though he saw how much damage his Body Slam did, wants to make sure that this Cloudshire goes to bed in a nice, shadowly tethers rather than his Body Slamming. There we go. Goes for the Body Slam again right there. Hits it, cracks it open. Muck comes back out. There's nothing stopping Jake from going from another Body Slam. He could honestly just Body Slam this entire match. The only thing that Ian could do is switch into Pex. Pex would probably be his best choice against this thing. Eats another Body Slam. Interesting choice going back to the guy who is slower, unless you wanted to sack him. Needs to go to Pex. Needs to go to Amoongus. Something that can tank this guy or disable this guy. Jake coming in hot. We might see the Porygon strats come in big. Finally goes to Toxapex, the bulkiest member of his team. Physically bulky, has Baneful Bunker, can wall this thing off, can poison it, make sure that the mom and son are both poisoned and dying a slow and painful death. I cannot believe I said that on a stream that is happening, unfortunately. Goes for the Shadow Claw. In love with that Shadow Claw, even though he's seen how much damage his Body Slime has done. Interesting choice. Goes for the actual Toxic instead of Baneful Bunker. But hey, that's Ian for you. He's a wild card. He's dressed as a professor. Mathematical plays that I cannot even comprehend. It's an interesting choice. Go for the Body Slam, maybe. Go for the Body Slam. Jake, you're coming in so clutch. Looks out. Moves the mic. Contemplating. Moves both hands down to the side. Thinking to himself, how do I deal with this Toxapex? Jake, whenever I run into Toxapex, I contemplate if I'm doing the right thing in my life too. It is a very annoying Pokemon. Instead, Ian switches out of a thing that he would wall off very easily to something else to take free damage. Interesting strategy. This thing has Regenerator, so it doesn't really matter. Maybe they're going to do Spore. Maybe going to stall this guy out. Has Giga Drain. Can easily stall this man and woman. Goes for the Double Edge. You're hiding it the entire time. Oh my god, Jake with the Double Edge tech that gets the mom and child killed right there. Kangaskhan, more a Kangaskhan can't have done. Smeargle comes in. This Pokemon is a mortal enemy of mine. If you've ever seen any streamer content, I contemplate how much I hate this Pokemon and its dumb hat, its dumb face, and its dumb moveset that can learn anything. Wow, creativity with the acrobatics right there. I love it. Painting up a storm right there. Can he paint his way into a win? I'm not sure that it's on the palette right there, but we'll see if the easel of this battle is going to stop him. Giga Drain kills the painter before he can even have anything sold online. Unfortunately, all of his art has been destroyed. Now Snorlax, we saw his carry from the first round with the body slam. Can he do work like he did in the first game? If he clicks body slam, it's going to be crazy. Crazy. Oh, yeah. The body slam is going to be big here if he goes for it. Sorry about the mouse, right? Or the mouse movement right there. Unfortunately, body slam. Almost synthesis. Ian had synthesis on this guy, showing that he's the true villain with the stall tactics right there. Zen headbutt. There we go. With the flinch. Let's go, Jake. Let's go. Let's go, Jake. Oh my God, the Zen headbutt. Oh, he had it the entire time. Look at the tech, the sigh of relief. He has Zen headbutt also for Toxapex. He has Zen headbutt for the rest of the Poison Gang. Can Jake pull it off? Snorlax, the GOAT from Gen 1, wheezing Galar. I don't know if it's gentlemanly enough for this Snorlax. Look at that face. He can't comprehend how happy something so simple can be. Look at that big boy. Will-O-Wisp on the Snorlax. Oh my God, Ian carries Will-O-Wisp. That's going to shut this Snorlax down. That's brutal for Jake. After he was making a huge comeback, we thought the Zen headbutt was going to be the answer. It's going to come down to this Porygon. I know it. Zen headbutt misses. Interesting tech that Jake could do is switch to the Ditto, switch into the Slowking, get the Psychic moves, take all the Psychic moves, and start using them against him. Goes for the Porygon instead. Switches. I didn't comprehend. I did predict the switch. Polygon.com. Oh my God, its feet are moving. It's running more than I've ever seen it run before. I didn't know it could run. Goes for Protect. Wow. Goes for the Protect. Wow. Porygon Sweep. Going for the Recover. Stalling him out. What are we going to see from this Porygon? I've seen it set before. I'm hoping that it's able to show what it has. Pain Split. Takes the damage. It has Pain Split. I've seen it. He's got something else on this move set. I really hope we get to see showcase what it is because it's a fun move. Goes for Last Resort. If you've used all of your moves, you're able to use Last Resort. And now the sweep begins, everybody. Stab Last Resort from Porygon. You have to use every single move in your arsenal in order to do damage. It's the tech we didn't know we needed. This is my Last Resort, Papa Roach. Oh my God. Going for the sick tech that nobody's ever seen with the download plus 1.5 attack. Gets burned. No. Last Resort shut down. It's such a shame. I wanted to see it popped off. Oh no. Oh God, you gotta go for Protect. It's the only play he has is going for a Ditto now. Can Ditto carry? I don't know. This might actually come down to a... Oh my God. Please tell me this is not going to come down to Toxapex versus Toxapex because they're Ditto. No, that is the dream nightmare scenario that it's in my... Please. Okay, switches into the Weezing. Thank fucking Christ. Thank God. It would have been a nightmare if it was Toxapex versus Toxapex. My voice. My poor voice. It would have been dead. It's already dying. It would have been a nightmare. This is already still a nightmare, but we got two dapper-looking fellows on stream. They're looking great. Is the Dapper Dastard here? It looks like we have two Weezings that represent him. Oh my God. He's such a fancy man with that steam coming out of him. Oh boy. Okay, guys, I know it looks grim. I know you both have the same moves. You gotta click a move that does damage. Strange Stream versus Strange Stream. Here we go. Pain Split. Another Stally move. Guys. So you're telling me this Porygon has Recover. This guy's got Pain Split. That guy's got Pain Split. Toxapex has probably Recover. Jesus. This is...
Get the confuse off, please, God.
They both have Pain Split. Why is Oh, this is still a nightmare. No. This is not it. Why? Guys, I can't. Why is every battle with Ian the fucking worst?
No! Ian's cheering too. You can see him cheering. Oh God.
I can't. Jake, I'm with you, man. I fucking bashed my head into a wall. It was legal.
I want to let you know there is a poll in the Twitch chat now, not to determine who wins, but how many turns this match will take to complete.
This is an absolute disaster.
Oh.
There's still a Toxapex, not the paint split.
No.
Not the paint split.
God.
Stop. Ian is banned from all future tournaments. Please tell me he's banned. This is so... He's got... No! Don't! No! Please! No! No!
I'm actually crying.
No! Stop!
No, he doesn't know.
No! Please! Why did it happen?
His pain split. This is all pointless. Everything that's happening is pointless.
No. How many... Oh, no. How many pain splits does he have? Okay, Gen 9 at least tried to nerf some of the recovery moves. He got 10 pain splits. We've got 7 rest. No.
Oh my God.
Why? Why did the Ditto have to transform into something that has...
Oh, this might kill him. Oh my God. Oh my God.
He rested off the burn.
Oh God, we're so fucked.
No. Times 2. Not the other Toxapex. Why? Why does it have to be Toxapex? He's got infestation.
Go for the sleep. What are you doing? No. What sucks is that was his best chance because now it's Toxapex v Toxapex.
A nightmare scenario. No.
Not the recover.
No. This is a bad ending. This is what happens when Thanos wins. 500%, 5%, 50% of the population just died. Just please.
You sucks.
Stop. No. I hate Toxapex. Seeing them both on screen recovering. No. This is the bad ending. Just please. This is why Ian's like, wow, I hate battling for 3 hours. Why? Fucking wonder why. No.
Jesus Christ.
No. Why?
And Ian tried to toxic him.
Guys. Guys. Please. Please. Stop.
Stop.
Stop. Stop. I can't. I can't. Oh no.
The chat. Oh, he's not gonna. Oh, he's. The chat is saying that Jake deserves to win, and I do agree with them.
Jake was the good guy. Oh, the paint split.
Oh
no. Wait. Oh no, Ian's just gonna recover, but still.
Yeah.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I'm revitalized. Oh, paint split. Okay. Toxic. It's already burned, Ian. Nice try.
Yeah, can't do
okay.
that.
Hold on. Hold on.
If he recovers and we get the pain split, then
yes. Hold on.
Jake's in it.
Hold on. Okay.
Oh.
Hold on.
Oh no, it's not gonna go well. I think Jake's out.
Okay.
He also has recover.
I forgot about the recovery. He has to use it because he has less.
We're gonna be here for years. Oh.
So you want to run a Pokemon tournament? You want to have your friends be friends? You want to invite Ian to your tournaments? And it's ironic that both of his matches have lost at the loss. So you try to run a tournament, and you get stall in a fucking for fun match We are stalling in a for fun showcase match to showcase off how much fun we have playing Pokemon with your friends. And I have a fucking Toxapex stalling a Porygon.
The protect.
Porygon with a goddamn last resort. Oh, he's got to recover. You got to recover. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Ian acted surprised, like he wasn't going to recover there. Okay. Okay. Last resort.
No, he has to save. He has to save 1 PP though for it because. Okay.
12 is
not enough.
No.
The only way he wins this is somehow Ian pain splits and he counters the pain split with his, he pain splits off the thing. That's the only way he wins. And he has to last resort that turn.
Oh.
Pain split.
Yeah, he's gonna recover here.
Okay. Okay.
Oh my god, the chat has voted to stop the match.
Well,
we're gonna continue the match, but god.
So the funny thing is, we were supposed to have a quarters and semis. We've been playing for 3.5 hours. The registered time was supposed to be 2.5 to 3 hours. Oh my god, I really wish he crit there. Oh, he moves. Crit him! Crit him! Crit him! Crit him!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Last resort crit!
Oh my god!
Go for it, Jake!
Jake!
Last resort!
Jake!
Crit,
Jake!
Crit! Crit! It
Do
kills!
not recover. Please go for the last resort. No!
No!
Man, that was somehow the least satisfying conclusion to that. You know,
my God.
Bad people win sometimes.
3 times, baby.
Fucking kill me.
That's horseshit.
How is that horse shit?
Jake deserves that win. Fuck you.
That was incredible. That was amazing.
That was my last resort too.
That was beautiful. That was incredible. Amazing battle. Thank you, Jake.
God damn it.
And it's that loop that we got in.
I know. And we were the same person, so we're just looping. I'm like, I'm here for this. I can do this.
God.
Oof.
1, 2, 3. Bug.
Fairy.
Okay.
Okay. As stated before, Bug versus Fairy is an interesting matchup. Unfortunately, like I said, Bug is going to be fighting an uphill battle. Zach pretty much can't click any of his Bug moves this entire battle right here. The biggest thing that is threatening is Quiver Dance and Scissor. Scissor is absolutely scary for this Fairy team. Zach absolutely has to use the Scissor to the maximum potential. If he doesn't, he's going to lose. So this is incredibly vital to do that. Scissor is incredibly vital. Yeah. So he's rings Volcarona. This is actually really dangerous. If Klefki lets this thing set up, he's gonna have to use Azumarill to kill this thing, which he can revenge kill really easily with Aqua Jet. We can use Reflect. Spikes is pretty good. Flamethrower is instantly gonna go. Oh, fuck yourself, Zach. I just now noticed that. All right, there's the Theater Degree coming in action right here. Hopefully, it helps him play Pokemon really well. Volcarona is probably gonna run away from the Aqua Jet here. Pure Power Aqua Jet is something he doesn't want to eat. Chris could set up a Belly Drum too. Goes for the Aqua Jet. Doesn't get the kill. Flame Body is really unlucky. Wow, that hacks 30% chance. That's huge. This Azumarill is now chunked. That is extremely unlucky for Chris. Chris still should go for the Aqua Jet, try to finish this Volcarona, but now he's basically lost 2 Pokemon. Now he's walled off by Arachnid. This is extremely bad for Chris. Chris is in a really tight spot very quickly here. All right, so now with this being able to wall off, he has Iron Defense. Again, unfortunately, this Azumarill with the burn is completely neutered and needs to go and switch to probably Primarina or Clefable here. Goes for the knockoff. I appreciate it. The crit's still really nice, and the leftovers get snacked off, but I think Infestation holds you in. So now this thing is going to stay in here. I believe he carries Rest, so unfortunately, he's just going to be able to stall here with the Iron Defense as well. This is going to be a strong wall. Chris has to find a way to get around this. I think Primarina might be his best shot. He needs to probably put in Primarina because I think this thing has Rest. Goes for the Iron Defense. Chris has a chance. If he play Rust and crits, he kills him. That's his one chance. If he doesn't, Zach's probably going to Rest. I would probably take the chance on the switch And yeah, unfortunately, he gets the rest off. So now Chris is in a tough spot. Infestation plus the burn. He can't go to Primarina because the Infestation's holding him in. I made a mistake there. So he has to go for the play rough crit. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off for him. He would have gotten past the 2 times defense, unfortunately. So now he's still dead to the burn and the Infestation. Chris hopes he dies there. So now Chris gets a free switch. He's got to bring in his best counter here. I don't think Hetrine is his best counter. I believe it's still Primarina. I don't know what Primarina has, but Primarina hopefully has something. Real fucking funny, Jake. I don't know if that's the correct play, but that's the way you tilt Zach, is bring him a joke that he really loves, or a quote that he really loves. Unfortunately, I don't think Clefable can do too much, but it doesn't take any residue damage. That's not an attack. So, all right, we'll see what happens here. I think Clefable has a wide variety of options it can do. I don't want to predict what it's going to do because there's so many different options. Thunderbolt is interesting, but unfortunately not going to do enough damage unless you're really specced into like having choice specs, Life Orb, or really teched into it. I think the damage from Clefable is not what you usually get it for. However, the Calm Mind is extremely spooky. The Calm Mind plus the Thunderbolt here might be enough damage, especially if it crits. I don't know if he goes for 2 Calm Minds because he doesn't want to take a Waterfall crit as well. Paralysis would be really bad. Okay, so now Zach has to lose his dude. He doesn't have anybody who can take this Thunderbolt. You should attack the Arachnid. I think that Liquidation is extremely risky because you could have gotten crit by the Arachnid. I understand that you're trying to get the HP back, but it is extremely dangerous, but it paid off. That Liquidation crit could have made a huge difference and turned the entire gameplay right here. Zach has to put in Scissor here, in my opinion, or something fast that revenge kills this. I think Scissor is the play. You can always scare Clefable away. It's a really easy pick. Technician Bullet Punch hits all of Chris's guys really hard. There's nobody. He eats the Bullet Punch with the Disguise. Very well played. I still think it dies in 1 Bullet Punch. Technician, I think he's dead. Retroly Examined might die as well, which that series died a long time ago. But me and Zach still live on providing content for you guys. Unfortunately, or fortunately, how you could decipher that is beyond what we're seeing here. Shadow Snake, unfortunately not going to do enough damage, but the correct play from Chris. Chris has to come up with a way to dodge this Bullet Punch. Primarina is the only one who can take this without dying. I think Technician Bullet Punch might kill anybody else because they do not resist the Bullet Punch. Primarina is the correct play. What's after Gak? It's Investigations 2, my favorite Ace Attorney game. I have to mention it, or else we get demonetized on this channel nowadays, because all of our content has to revolve around that show, unfortunately. Primarina can resist a Bullet Punch. So unfortunately, Zach probably has to run away. Scissor's really important, but he doesn't want to take what Primarina is going to do. So I think if Zach loses Scissor, it's really bad. He doesn't want to risk dying here, so he's just going to sack the Volcarona. I believe that is the correct play. Great play by Zach. If he ate the Skull, burned on Scissor, he would have lost. Now he can get a good switch in here, and he has to avoid this Primarina. Primarina is the only one who can beat Scissor, and Scissor's the only one who can beat the rest of Zach's team. He has to keep that guy alive. Zach is going to go for the Sticky Web. I think it's incredibly valuable here. Gets good mileage. The Skull burn might be here. No. I don't know if you want to stay in with Primarina here. It's got pretty good special defense, and I don't think this Ribbon Bee is going to do much damage to it. Might Stun Spore, which actually could be. I'm predicting it now. Zach gets the Stun Spore. I'm not predicting anything anymore. Zach going for the Stun Spore, I thought would have been the obvious call there. That way you get a 25% chance for you just to automatically win. He's probably going to go to the Scissor right here. Technician Bullet Punch at this range. Still probably doesn't kill. 80% is a little too high, but you get a free kill. Every time you bring in Scissor, you have to consider it a free kill on anything here. 100%. So, as soon as he brings in Scissor, he eats spike damage, which isn't great, but every time he switches in, he's got to consider that it's basically killing whatever it comes into. If he brings in Scissor, you have to throw in Clefable. Clefable will eat the Bullet Punch, then you bring in Primarina again, and you do that cycle over and over again. It's going to come down to the wire. I do not agree with the Cleaver, but it's still fast enough. I still think you sack, whatchamacallit. I think Chris just lost off this play, unfortunately, because now Scissor can come in, Bullet Punch the rest of the team. I think it's over. I think Bullet Punch or Iron Head literally kills the rest of Chris's team. He can't get past the Sticky Web. I think it's all over now. Scissor comes in, Bullet Punch, kills at this HP. Technician Bullet Punch stab, too much damage. There's nothing he can do. Hatrine is his last hope. if Hatrine lives a bullet punch, it is typically physically frail. Hatrine's his last chance, but it takes rocks. Musical analysis ass. We will have one of those videos out in 2028. I don't know when that's coming. Unfortunately, he has to go for Mystic Fire. If he doesn't have Mystic Fire specifically, he loses. If he lives the bullet punch, we have a chance. Stab Technician, bullet punch, probably still kills Primarina, or not Primarina, Hatrine, and Zach is going to win because Clefable cannot take a bullet punch. It's over. Bullet punch, Scissor wins the game. Bullet punch, Scissor.
Caesar City, baby.
Hatterene couldn't live one fucking bullet punch.
Stab Technician.
Yeah, he's strong.
Punch.
He's strong on the bullet punch.
And he had banned. He had banned too.
I know.
4 wins and 1 loss is Zach. We have a couple guys, Ian and Chris at 3. It's hard for me. Will is at.
Here, I just updated it, so it's accurate now.
Well, I can't see. I can't. When you went dead, I lost your.
Oh, sorry. Carl, Ian, and Chris all had 3 wins, 2 losses. Will,
Jake should have had.
2 and 3.
Well, put the asterisk by Jake's win. The win. He won our hearts with that play.
Oh my god! Like, are you kidding me?
Oh my god! It's the Primarina sleeping away the haters.
Yeah,
dude.
Plasman, this is so good.
That's awesome.
When
Great job.
Ian revealed that he had like recover the entire, or, like, something on that thing, I was like, you had that the entire time. Like, oh no, I forget what it was.
It was that it was Giga Drain.